announcement for our listeners. Reese on the Radio is also a podcast. You can find us anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Catch the full episode, listen by individual hour, or jump straight to the highlights. Just open up your favorite podcast app, search Reese on the Radio, and hit the follow button so you can get every minute of the show your way and on your time.
Most of us like to be out in the sun.
Hold on a minute.
Sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum. Healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080. Yeah.
I know we're online. I know the Red Sox are playing. But that's all right. It's still going to be a darn good show. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. And I know what the major story is, of course. And it's entertainment news. And I know that if you are here, you are expecting Reese to break this down. I will break it down for you. And I have a message for Jim Himes. I have a message for Chris Murphy. And I have a message for Jimmy Kimmel. You might want to check your own party on this Jimmy Kimmel thing. You might want to check Jimmy Kimmel on this whole thing. Because I remember the outrage when cancel culture or people being fired for their views or their, as you like to call it now, free speech. You didn't have anything to say and you celebrated it. And I have got so many examples of this hypocrisy. And it wasn't like they didn't know it was there. They all knew it was there. And some people might argue, but Reese, you're talking about racist comments. So, I thought the argument was free speech. I thought you said, as of late, hate speech is covered as well. And as far as the government is concerned, that the government shouldn't get involved in private affairs. Oh, what short memories we have. We don't here at Reese on the Radio. We don't have short memories here. I don't know why I do it. I have no idea why I do it. But for some odd reason, when a news story comes up, I just put it in the database. And then I take my daily dose of Ginkgo biloba, whatever that stuff is called. I take my beets. I also take my multivitamin, and I take any sort of memory supplement I can. Not because I can remember. That's how I can remember my wife's friends' names, which, by the way, I never do. Hey, do you remember Janice? Who? My cousin. Which one is that one? She was here yesterday. Oh. Okay, again, tall, short, blonde. I can't. I just don't. Ask me about what happened in October of 1992. I've got you. Ask me about a neighbor who lives across the street for the past year and a half. What? What's her name? I'm not sure. My neighbor, Andrew, I know his name. It took me a year and a half to find out his wife's name, and I talk to her almost every day. She's told me her name 3 times. In fact, I think it's Yvette. I have no idea. I think it's Yvette. But that's just me. When it comes to these useless pieces of information, I'm a steel trap. We'll get into that. I also want to say to my wife, who I know is listening, or at least I hope I'm listening, sweetheart, Godspeed, be safe. If I didn't tell you guys yesterday, so my wife is going to be gone for roughly about a week, maybe 6 days. And she is on the road right now. She's somewhere in Louisiana. And she tells me she's going to stop in Baton Rouge. To which I told her, don't you dare. That is a hellhole.
LSU. LSU.
I told her, do not go to Baton Rouge. Stay the hell away from Baton Rouge. That place is gang affiliated, the whole damn town. So she better be careful. So she's driving through your neck of the woods right now, Roland. And
yeah, she'll be fine in Baton Rouge.
You think so?
Yeah.
You got military bases out there?
I think, yeah, absolutely. They have a military base out there.
Yeah, I would imagine so. So because she is a retired veteran, that's where, like, if instead of staying at a hotel, she will go to, I don't know why, because I told her just rent a hotel room. But she will go to a military base, and they will let you sleep at the military base, like at the entrance point.
Yeah.
And the guards will, in essence, it couldn't be in a more secure place in the world.
We used to go hoop over there all the time. My dad was a policeman, and he used to take us on the army base to go play basketball.
Yeah, it's got to be the safest place in the world. And if not the coolest place. She loves to go there. I'm not much of a fan because she gets there and she's got to chat it up with everybody else. That's why I say if she goes to a military base, she's not going to go to sleep. She's going to see a military guy and they will talk military stuff. I have to drag her away from conversations when we go to the PX. That's how bad it is. I'm like, can we just get where we have to get? And she will start reminiscing and she's influencing the kids to get into the military. It's a mess. But anyway, so she's on the road now and she'll be in D.C. soon. And we'll see if we can get her on the phone tomorrow for Ladies' Night, which is her portion of the show. Sokolowski says, while the cat's away, the mice will play. I'm not playing. I am being a good boy. I've already put the alarm on the house, and I'm not leaving. I am in a fortress. I'm not allowed to go outside. I am not allowed to go outside while the wife is gone. Maybe to take out the garbage. That's about it.
I hope you order and eat.
No, I'm not ordering. I was told that I cannot order food. I must learn to cook this week. Yeah, I have to learn to cook this week.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
pork and beans and fried bologna.
Okay, so we did this thing called eating healthy thing. So we actually have food coming to the house. So it's already pre-made. So the only thing I have to do is to warm it up.
Oh, so you're not cooking at all?
I don't have to cook it all.
You're just warming it up.
I'm just warming it up. And that's going to be, yes, Lori said, a bowl of cereal. I haven't eaten cereal in over 15, maybe 20 years. So no, I barely even eat breakfast as is. So I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to warm up food, and that's it. She says to me, she goes, you're going to starve, aren't you? I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to be fine.
You can cook eggs and bacon, though.
Yeah, I can, but I don't want to. I'll be honest. I don't want to. I don't want to have to cook ever. because I don't want to have to wash dishes. And with her not here, I have a dishwasher. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't know. I just don't feel like doing it.
You don't want to rinse and put in the dishwasher.
No, I don't feel like that. But I'm going to have to do it today. I'm going to have to be domestic. And I'm going to have to see if I could survive on my own without my wife being here. That's what I'm going to learn how to do this.
Of course you can.
Yeah, don't be so sure of yourself.
When we have to, we do what we have to do.
Yeah, sure we do. Yeah, soon you could be calling me, maybe tomorrow or Sunday. It was like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I can't find the can opener.
How long is she gone for, till when?
Maybe 6 to 7 days.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Oh, you kidding me? We're not even into day one yet, and I'm a nightmare. I'm looking around trying to check stuff. I've literally just put out food for me to prepare for myself. I've had nothing for lunch.
That was I will say that was the good thing, me being raised by just a single mom. I know how to do all of that crap, and my wife and daughter leaves for 2 weeks or 3 weeks out of every summer, and I'm just at home dolo. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I will figure it out. In fact, I'll tell you what I will do, and this is going to be interesting. I am actually going to grab whatever is in that kitchen, and I am going to come up with some concoction that I can make on my own. Just anything, just of all my favorite things, mix them up.
Some goulash?
Yeah, we'll call it goulash, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a big giant ball and put it in the oven and put it to like 385 and sit it there for like an hour or two, and whatever comes out, we eat. That's all.
Oh, my goodness. Who's we?
Oh, no. When I say we, I meant myself.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Please don't.
Whatever.
Don't feed that to anyone else.
Yeah. But no, whatever comes up, that's what I eat. And, I'll just figure it out. At least then I would have had some fun cooking and maybe come up with something that I could possibly, feed my wife in the future that she will hate and tell me that I am no longer allowed in the kitchen. Which, by the way, can I tell you a little secret here to everybody? Just between us. So, Roseanne, so I actually have always sucked at washing dishes and cooking. And I purposely decided not to learn so I never have to do it. In fact, I usually destroy every bit of food that I've ever made on purpose because I don't like doing it. And usually, out of frustration, people don't allow me in the kitchen anymore. And she doesn't either because I'm just not, I can't figure it out. I don't understand anything about seasoning. I do know that this is salty and this is bland. I don't know how this stuff works. I don't even understand why it's relevant. Somebody's got to explain to me, what is the relevance of paprika? It has,
this guy
no
here.
Taste.
This guy, it enhances the other seasonings.
Oh, is that
flavor.
what paprika does?
Yes.
It enhances the other seasoning. Oh, okay. All right. See, I understand things like seasoned salt because its primary base is salt. that I understand.
Yeah, I don't even cook with salt when I season. I just use the salt that's already in different. I don't add extra salt like regular salt.
I'll tell you my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing to cook, because it barely takes anything, is steak. Because you can put it on a grill and its natural juices will do all the seasoning for you.
Yeah, you have to add a little salt and pepper, though.
Nope. I add nothing. I take the steak just as it is.
You got to add some salt and pepper.
Really?
Yeah.
Will that make it better?
Yeah, you got to have salt. You got to do salt and pepper on both sides.
I was under the impression that salt makes it shrink.
No. You got to do salt and pepper on both sides of a steak.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Maybe I will try something like that. I think I have some steak in that refrigerator. I'll take the risk. But I don't have a grill. That's the other thing. Montreal steak seasoning. I think I know that one, Lori. I do. Jason says, I'm still waiting for my eggs and bacon. No, you cannot have eggs and bacon, Jason. I'm not buying them for you. Gosh, I can't believe they're still remembering that story. Did that story resonate with so many people?
Yeah.
I have no idea why. Anyway, yeah, Sokolowski agrees with you, Roland. He says salt and pepper actually works on the steak. I didn't think so. I've never added any seasoning to a steak that I've ever made. So maybe I'm just crazy for that, but I've never done
Who else ate the steak that you made?
Oh, just me.
Yeah, that's why.
That's not nice. That is not nice at all.
I knew when you said that no one else ate the steak.
You mean there was nobody there to complain, right? I totally believe you. Yes, as long as no one was there to complain, you can. By the way, if you're watching online, I'm going to be posting the Red Sox score. And, of course, as you can see there, it's 3-2 Athletics who are playing in Fenway. So we'll keep you updated. It's at the top of the third. If, of course, this is a little delayed, so we'll follow as that goes along. So when we come back, I'm going to break down to you this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing from beginning to end and where we are, the hypocrisy, and the whole 9 yards. And we've got audio, sound bites relevant to all of this. And when I say we're going to break this down, I did so much research here so that you can have a full grasp of why as I'm calling it, stop your crying. Nobody cares. Because I don't care. I look at this as I always have. If you set the standard, it's the one you must live by. And they set the standard. So we've got Chuck Schumer, AOC. We've got Jimmy Kimmel himself talking about firing. We're going to talk about his controversy, and we'll talk about Sinclair. We'll also talk about the money that Jimmy Kimmel is losing for ABC networks. And why, this brand of late night talk is not helpful to these networks. And they should consider it. And it's something I've said for years, but we'll break all of that down. Also, in headlines, we'll talk a little bit about, I'm probably going to do a longer or extended headlines today because of the first story in headlines has to do with Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, and Tim Walz, which you may have heard. Another excerpt from Kamala Harris's book, 107 Days, has been released. Also, we'll talk about the stupidest thing that I read today. This one's actually really, really good, and I am going to ask Roland about the stupidest thing I read today. It involves a strip club, but not because it involves a strip club. It's just another story about that as well. Don't forget, we've also got tickets to go see Gutfeld live on September 21st at 6 p.m. at the Premier Theater at Foxwoods Resort. You can get your chance to win that by calling 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842, when I tell you to call. We'll also announce the winner of the Between Rounds Dozen Bagels. What else do we have in store today? I do have Hollywood news. And what was the other? I'm sorry that I didn't have all of my notes in front of me. Oh, yeah. Antifa has been designated a terrorist organization. That is an important story. It is a very important story because two things are affected by that story. We'll talk about that and take your phone calls today as well. And I can't think of anything else. We are going to take a break in a minute. So that
You're going to 30.
Oh, we go straight to 30. Okay, fine. Screw it. I can just go on to 30. So I was looking at this thing. And let me go here since I have the time. This Nexstar company that owned the ABC affiliates where Jimmy Kimmel Live is broadcasting, I know you heard the connection in Connecticut. And you may have seen in the Hartford Courant, if not in the CT Insider or the Connecticut Mirror, that there is a merger happening here in the state. It has to do with, of course, the national is a national implication here. But the company that owns WTNH is acquiring the company that owns Fox 61. And that merger is beginning. A lot of people have problems with that because they believe that TNH is too big. Maybe it'll phase out Fox 61 or, whatever. Monopoly type stuff. But that's an important thing to recognize in all of this. Many people are saying because of this merger and its need to be approved by the FCC, that led to the Jimmy Kimmel firing. Or, cancellation. Let's just call it that, because I don't know if he's fired. But I will tell you right off the bat, it's deeper. It's way deeper than that. Let's take some things into consideration. About 10 years ago, Jimmy Kimmel Live used to bring in ad money to the tune of over $420 million. Now, not because the arena of late night talk shows were saturated. They've always been the way that they are since the Leno-Letterman era. And Arsenio as well. Don't forget them. Arsenio did extremely well, as did Leno and Letterman. Those three late night shows did the thing. And they were huge names because of it. And sure, they competed with one another. Arsenio didn't have to compete all that much because he was on a syndicated network. But Leno and Letterman took large chunks of that evening programming. So when you have the three networks that have Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, what happened? Well, Colbert immediately started switching to politics, and then the others followed suit. But when Colbert did it, Colbert got a lot of attention for it. And there was an uptick of interest. And many people believe that that kind of show was gaining importance, not relevance, importance. Soon enough, the others followed suit. Jimmy Kimmel in particular. Jimmy started having way too much fun about going after conservatives. But it hurt the ratings. It chopped them in half. Now, as I said earlier, we're talking about a guy who had over $400 million in ad revenue coming to the show. Well, I just want to say last year or so, maybe even the last couple of years, that number has gone down to over $200 million in ads. That's a considerable drop. And that is not good for a syndicated program. What's also bad is that for a show that used to pull in maybe 3, maybe 4 million viewers, is now down to, if it's lucky, 2.1 million. And that is over several cities in 50 states. And according to that, that's just not good. And something had to be done. Something had to be done, and worse off, it was difficult for them to do it. Because of the Stephen Colbert firing.
Come on, gotta roll.
Oh, we gotta go? Darn it. All right, I gotta take a break. Let's go to the news. I didn't even look at the time. I looked away. All right, I'll give you some more details of this when we return. It's Reese on the Radio.
And now, a WTIC news update.
2:30, 81 degrees in Hartford. I'm John Silva. The owner of a popular Hartford area restaurant is under arrest after East Hartford police say she passed a bad check to purchase restaurant equipment. Gina Loari is the owner of the Place to Be, with locations in Hartford and West Hartford. The report was first filed in July. Loari is accused of paying for over $10,000 in equipment from Restaurant Paradise in town. The check she used, police say, was returned due to a closed account and insufficient funds. She's charged with issuing a bad check and larceny. President Trump, British Prime Minister Starmer signed a major deal on tech investment today, as the president offered his thoughts on a number of other issues, expressing his approval of the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live by ABC and how Russian President Putin has let him down in trying to negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine. Connecticut joining several other northeastern states in announcing the Northeast Public Health Collaborative. That'll deal with vaccine recommendations for the region as well as infectious disease management. In Windsor, police say a 35-year-old fired a weapon at in a residence on Matthew Lane while experiencing a mental health crisis until they could get him into custody and to a hospital for evaluation. School buses had to be delayed from making their rounds on Wednesday. Ledyard police have arrested a 49-year-old from Gales Ferry on drunk driving charges. They say they found 49-year-old Angel Adamson asleep in a vehicle parked in a lot off Route 12 with the child sleeping in the back seat and alcoholic beverages nearby. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser defending her policies on crime during a House committee hearing. Her appearance today comes during a federal law enforcement surge in the city and efforts by lawmakers to limit the local council's control. WTIC News Time 2:32. Here's Bob at the forecast.
Temperatures across the area this afternoon reaching the upper 70s and low 80s with a mostly sunny sky. Tonight it's mainly clear, maybe some patchy fog developing in places late tonight. Lows in the upper 50s to around 60. Friday we'll have sunshine mixed with a few clouds. Highs 75 to 80. It turns cooler Friday night and into the weekend. Mainly clear Friday night. Lows by sunrise Saturday 45 to 52. And plenty of sunshine both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday's highs in the upper 60s and low 70s. Lows dip into the 40s Saturday night. Sunday's highs in the low 70s. And autumn arrives Monday afternoon. You'll see sunshine Monday with highs well into the 70s. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's up 133 points. NASDAQ's up 234. S&P's ahead 37. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Do you know a veteran in need?
Hold on a minute.
After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676.
Here we go.
That's 1-833-468-9676.
It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back, and Lori says that Gutfeld started eating their lunch when the writer's strike happened. Yeah, but you know what? They should have recovered, and they didn't. And they were partisan, and that's what they were. And I don't, again, being partisan is a good thing if it works, right? Like, that's the thing. If you're working an angle and your bosses are like, I don't know, buddy. I see that as alienating people. I was like, no. I really do think this is going to work. I think that there are more people who would be for this than would be against it. And then I try it. And then for years and years and years, I see my ratings plummet. And someone doesn't say to me, hey, you told me this would work. What's going on? Yeah, we used to make almost $500 million in advertising a year. Now we're down to $200 million. This isn't working. Can we switch it up? I can't right now because if I switch it up, people will think I'm phony, that I'm catering. So I for integrity's sake, I just got to keep doing it. Now, if I'm the brass, I got to make a decision here. Sure, I agree with Jimmy Kimmel if I'm his boss, right? If I'm ABC, if I'm Disney. Yeah, we agree with you. Absolutely, we agree with you. Yes, he's scum. His supporters are scum. Blah, 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 blah. But we are a business, okay? We're not running a 501c3. We have to make money. Okay, we do. That's what we are an entertainment business for. Other than that, we're just failing at the key word here. So when I said this on my X account, that this had nothing to do with what Jimmy Kimmel said, because trust me, what Jimmy Kimmel said was pale in comparison. There was nothing to be ticked off about. Nothing. It doesn't matter that Jimmy Kimmel was wrong about suggesting that the shooter was MAGA related. That doesn't matter. What matters is that Jimmy Kimmel is a hypocrite. And ABC needed to pull him, and they were looking for a reason because he was losing them money. But let's get to that later. Let's go to this point. Here's Jimmy Kimmel after the murder of Charlie Kirk. He posted, instead of the angry finger pointing, can we just for one day agree that it is horrible and monstrous to shoot another human? On behalf of my family, we send love to the Kirks and all the children, parents, and innocents who fell victim to senseless gun violence. So he was said, finger pointing, he was admonishing. And then, of course, he backtracked on it.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism.
No, it didn't. It didn't get any criticism, and even if it did, why mention it? The guy was close to the president of the United States, and he was close to a lot of people. Not half of Americans, a lot of Americans, especially young people. So you heard him there saying that all the finger pointing started. And then he accused the killer of being MAGA related. But again, it's not like this was Jimmy's first offense. He had others.
Tesla stock is way down, almost disastrously so. People have been vandalizing Tesla vehicles, new Tesla vehicles. Please don't vandalize. Don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so...
So everybody thought it was funny. Mocking vandalism. These were all political attacks. They thought they were funny. His audience thought they were funny. But if this had been any other person, it would have been considered as shock and absolutely despicable. But no one said a word at ABC, and they never forced him to tone it down. This was vandalism that could have put someone's life in jeopardy. But no, they didn't care. But he didn't just go after a company. He also went after people. He went after individuals. And if you really want to know the partisanship of Jimmy Kimmel, look no further than COVID.
Hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Free speech, you say, right? Okay, got no problem with that. Right? Mocking people who took ivermectin, saying, have a nice life. In essence, mocking them, should they pass away? Okay, free speech, folks. That's absolutely fine. I wouldn't have been so offended if the guy really was just a comedian instead of a partisan hack. And if people are saying that he was just being funny, let's remember election night.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go. for healthcare, for our climate, for science, for journalism, for justice, for free speech. It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, for the truth and democracy and decency. And it was a terrible night for everyone who voted against him. And guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him, too. You just don't realize it yet.
Yeah, look at him on his high horse, virtue signaling, telling the world how bad it was going to be. He wasn't a comedian. He was an activist. He was pretending to be a comedian. He was using his television show as a political platform that had jokes at the expense of people he didn't like. It was masquerading as a comedy show. But remember, Jimmy Kimmel, as a late-night host, talked about the news, and he talked about people who had been canceled. Remember, Jimmy Kimmel, not officially let go, his show's been suspended. But you would expect somebody like Jimmy Kimmel, who many are saying in the New York Post and others, even Rolling Stone, that he's livid and he's crying for free speech. Let's see how he felt about Roseanne's free speech, who was then his label mate at ABC.
The biggest story of the day today was Roseanne. Roseanne, you're not going to believe this, but she tweeted something outrageous. Anyway, ABC decided to cancel their highest-rated show, Roseanne, following a tweet in which Roseanne compared an African-American woman, a former advisor to President Obama, to an ape, which did not sit well with ABC management or anyone with a brain, really. So they announced that this first season of the show is also its last, which is a huge blow to business. I mean, we don't have much on this network.
It was a highly rated show. ABC got rid of it. Jimmy Kimmel, not so much, and people are complaining. But by the way, no one complained when Roseanne was canceled. They revamped it into the Connors, but they got rid of Roseanne. And again, she was the highest rated show on the network, and they were quick to get rid of her. By the way, who played a role in that? The Obama administration. Everybody knows it. And why? It was a private tweet. It wasn't even something she said on her show. It was a private tweet. And she was not under any impression that Valerie Jarrett was black. When she tweeted, she regretted it. Not so much after all of the backlash. But it wasn't just Roseanne. There was another high-profile individual in the news that also got fired from their network for their free speech. How did Jimmy Kimmel handle that? Easy. The opposite of way he's handling his own let go.
Fox News has severed bow ties with Tucker Carlson. After all these years, they are parting ways, which means he was fired. I mean, that's really what parting ways means. Tucker couldn't be reached for comment. He's already on a plane to Moscow to meet with his manager. But what a shock. I mean, what an absolutely delightful shock this is.
Why wasn't anybody screaming about free speech then? There was no free speech at that point. And all the people who were in government who were saying that Jimmy Kimmel didn't deserve to lose his job and free speech is on the line and authoritarian rule is happening right before our eyes? Let's go to a true fascist. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez after Tucker Carlson's firing.
Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. What I will say, though, is while I'm very glad, but deplatforming works, and it is important. And there you go. Good things can happen.
Good things can happen. Talk about government overreach. Here's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez talking about the government's role when it comes to the media.
You know, I do think that several members of Congress
in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy, because that is a part of what happened here. And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation. It's one thing to have differing opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false. And so that's something that we're looking into.
Yeah, you can't say things that are false in the media. And last but not least, let's go to Chucky Schumer. Chuck Schumer, I remember him talking to a media mogul, telling him to remove someone from the network immediately.
Rupert Murdoch, who has admitted they were lies and said he regretted it, has a special obligation to stop Tucker Carlson from going on tonight, now that he's seen how he has perverted and slimed the truth, and from letting him go on again and again and again. Not because their views deserve such opprobrium, but because our democracy depends on it.
Our democracy depends on it. Our democracy depends on it. Now, nothing would be better if you really, really want to get good stuff. Hey, can I go straight through, or do I have to take a break coming up? Because the next piece I have to play is pretty long. Rolling? Okay, he's not there. All right, doesn't matter. This one is my favorite. Because right now, we're having a conversation about who can be called a Nazi, who can be called a fascist. People are now saying that that language is wrong. People are asking the question about whether or not we should still call this administration a bunch of dictators and fascists. Well, there was one young lady who also worked for ABC, Disney, for that matter. And that woman was fired. Why was she fired? Well, she wasn't comparing any person in the White House or in Washington as a Nazi. She was comparing the industry that she worked for. Remember?
Gina Carano's Cara Dune won't return for future seasons of the Pedro Pascal-led series The Mandalorian, or for any other Star Wars project for that matter. On Wednesday, February 10th, 2021, Carano, a former mixed martial artist who has become a recognizable face in the action and sci-fi genres over the years, was fired from The Mandalorian. As reported by Deadline, a spokesperson for Lucasfilm confirmed on Wednesday evening that Carano wasn't just dropped from the first ever live-action Star Wars series, she's also no longer going to be considered for or offered employment with Lucasfilm in the future. The decision came after Carano continued to share on social media statements that Lucasfilm deemed, quote, abhorrent. The star's penchant for expressing her political opinions online, no matter how divisive or offensive those opinions might be, caused many fans to urge Lucasfilm to fire her. Carano's most recent controversial post on Instagram suggested that being a Republican in the U.S. in 2021 is similar to being Jewish in Nazi Germany.
Anyone? That was the controversial post that got her fired from The Mandalorian, that got her fired from Disney, saying that being a Republican in the United States was tantamount to being treated like a Jew during Nazi Germany. Inaccurate? Inflammatory? I guess not. Everyone's looking at it today saying to themselves, yeah, she's kind of right. It's kind of accurate. No one seemed to work remotely to defend her free speech. There were no efforts to defend her. I looked it up. I did a deep dive. The New York Times, For Gina Carano's 2021 firing over the Holocaust analogies in the anti-mask post, coverage emphasized her bigoted views without advocating for reinstatement. They said the New York Times applauded corporate consequences for conservative hate speech. MSNBC. They said Carano's segments on MSNBC highlighted her right-wing conspiracies, justifying her ouster. No calls for due process. CNN. What did they say about Carano's? They fired Gina Carano Trends, noting her post as inflammatory, warranting her dismissal. They supported swift justice for her conservative words. That was CNN. Who's this? Vox? Vox in 2021 explained that Carano's firing as deserved for her long history of bad social media posts, like Nazi comparisons. Nazi comparisons! Stating it wasn't conservative bias, but anti-bigotry. What are they talking about? All of this is nonsense. All of these are lies. They don't care about Jimmy Kimmel's free speech. They're angry because one of their owns got the axe. But if I could, I just want to play this. Jim Himes, he is my favorite. And I think someone wisely cut him off at the end of this diatribe.
ABC, which is owned by Disney, took Jimmy Kimmel off the air because a senior federal official, Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, didn't like some things that Jimmy Kimmel said on TV. And I'm talking to you now because I'm just getting so damn sick of people who purport to be for free speech.
I'm sorry, are you getting mad? You getting all angry?
In fact, turning out to be for free speech for the people that they agree with. Today on the floor of the House, the Republicans tried to censure Ilhan Omar not for something she said, but for a video that she retweeted. Now, by the way, I suspect that video was horrible. I don't often agree with stuff that Ilhan Omar says. I don't think what Jimmy Kimmel said was good. I didn't like what Charlie Kirk said, but that does not matter. It is completely irrelevant. The point of this country is to allow each and every American to articulate the beliefs that they have without any fear of reprisal.
Except for ABC. Except for Sinclair Media. Except for Nexstar. How do I know? Because Jim Himes told me so.
It's pretty simple. I'm not one bit surprised that Brendan Carr said what he did. This administration has shown that they only care about the free speech of the people with whom they agree.
Does Brendan Carr not have free speech? Dum-dum?
And I'm only just a little surprised watching corporation after corporation and law firm after law firm and university after university cave that ABC and Disney caved to this. But folks, it's time to start defending people's right to say what they want, especially when what they say is obnoxious.
Okay. What are you asking for?
That's the whole point. And it's time to start holding people like ABC and Disney and Brendan Carr accountable.
Holding them accountable? So Brendan Carr must be held accountable for his free speech? ABC must be held accountable for their right to let someone go? So you're talking about retaliating against people's own freedom to make a decision on their own. Do you know what you just said, Jim? Perhaps it was wise that you cut it off when you did, because you are now suggesting that people should hold people accountable for the things that they do or the things that they say, because the corporation said, sorry, Jimmy, we cannot tolerate your speech. Oh, you can say it anywhere you want to, but you can't say it and represent our company. And Jim Himes' response to that is, we should hold people accountable for their freedom to do business in the way in which they wish to. Somebody's got to explain it to me. They can't. Let's go to the blowhard, because you know he had something to say. I don't know if he was out drinking or partying or something. He looked a little disheveled because he was looking around on the street. Has he ever been on the street before? He's never gone outside at night. This is my first time seeing him there. Yeah, Chris Murphy.
Stephen Colbert is gone. Jimmy Kimmel is gone now. You need to see what is happening right now. It is the systematic destruction of free speech in this country. It is Donald Trump using the power of the White House, in this case, the power of his regulatory agencies, to try to shut down any speech that opposes him. Understands the gravity of this moment. This is a moment for the country to mobilize. This is a moment for all of us to be out on the streets protesting, because if you don't raise your voices, right?
Oh, come on, bro. Really? If I'm a Chris Murphy supporter, my attitude for this guy would be like, dude, do I really need to go out on the street for Jimmy Kimmel? Like, really, dude? It's like, I like you. I hope you run for president, but do I have to go outside again to protest a comedian's late night show that I'm not watching? Like, really, is your answer to everything going out? Why do I have to go out in the street? Can you do something this time? Like, with all due respect, I went and I voted for you so that you could do something. Why am I going outside again? For Jimmy Kimmel? Please, just give me anything else to do except for this?
Now, about the assault on free speech, about Donald Trump's decision to disgustingly exploit the murder of Charlie Kirk so as to try to permanently render powerless and impotent those who politically oppose him. There may be no democracy to save a year from now.
Oh, God. So Jimmy Kimmel is now, his firing is a threat to, is that what it is? It's a threat to democracy now. I never knew that democracy was hanging on like by a thread. And Jimmy Kimmel was like, that was the thread. That was the bridge too far. Do you know what this reminds me of? This is like when America went to war with Canada over Terrence and Phillip in the South Park movie. That's what this reminds me of. This is absolutely stupid. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll have your phone calls. We'll update the Red Sox score and all that and the good stuff. Let's get to the newsroom with John Silva. It's Reese On The Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
3 o'clock, good afternoon. We've got sunshine, temperature of 81 degrees, and we will keep the sun for us today with those temps in the low 80s. All the forecast details coming up. The owner of a popular Hartford area restaurant is under arrest after East Hartford police say she passed a bad check to purchase restaurant equipment. 33-year-old Gina Luari is the owner of the Place to Be, with locations in Hartford and West Hartford. The complaint was first filed in July. Luari is accused of paying for over $10,000 in equipment from Restaurant Paradise in town by using a bad check. Police say that check that she used was returned due to a closed account and insufficient funds. Luari is charged with passing a bad check and larceny. President Trump wrapped his state visit to Britain with a joint press conference with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. On Starmer's decision to recognize a Palestinian state, the president said,
I have a disagreement with the Prime Minister on that score. Okay? One of our few disagreements, actually.
On Ukraine, Trump said Putin let him down in his attempt to stop the war. Starmer pointed to Russian attacks on Kyiv and drones over Poland.
If you put that together, what you can see is either an emboldenment or at least an increased recklessness on Putin's part. And that's why I said earlier that they're not the actions of someone who wants peace.
Group of Democratic lawmakers is accusing the Trump administration of exploiting the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer accused the Trump administration of trying to penalize people for simply speaking out.
To supercharge the political witch hunt against critics is abhorrent, obnoxious, and as un-American as it gets.
Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy says President Trump could have used the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk to unite the nation.
Trump and his lieutenants are choosing a different path. They are choosing to exploit this tragedy, to weaponize the federal government, to destroy Donald Trump's political opposition.
Correspondent Christopher Cruz with that report. In Windsor, police are releasing additional information on an incident that caused school dismissals to be delayed Wednesday. Just before 1 p.m., officers were dispatched to Matthew Lane, a residence there, on a report of a person experiencing a mental health episode. The family of a 35-year-old man reported he'd been acting paranoid, spewing obscenities, and saying the government was spying on him. As officers were speaking to family members, a gunshot was heard from within. Crisis negotiators spoke to the man and his brother for several hours before both surrendered. The man was taken for evaluation and will face charges. Windsor schools, including the high school, delayed their dismissals. While the episode unfolded, there were no injuries. Top state Republicans want more details about the governor's plan to use state pension funds to buy a stake in the WNBA's Connecticut Sun. Republicans also want Democrats to consider their proposal to establish a board overseeing the pension fund. Senator Ryan Fazio, who's running for governor, says oversight of the pension fund is too much for the state treasurer alone.
Our proposal would protect taxpayers, would protect state employees, would broaden out responsibility and power for the management of tens of billions of dollars rather than investing it in a single individual. In the long run, it would be to the benefit of the current and future state treasurers as well.
Republicans say they're not opposed to keeping the Sun in the state, but they're questioning the use of public funds to do that. Connecticut's unemployment now at 3.8% for the fourth month running. State Labor Department says that August saw 900 jobs gained. Director of Research Patrick Flaherty tells us where the state saw declines.
Construction declined in August, but remained above 62,000 jobs, higher than at any point from the Great Recession of 2008 to the COVID pandemic. Retail trade also declined in August, but this is a continuation of a downward trend as shopping patterns change.
And gains were seen in healthcare and social assistance sectors, among others. WTIC News Time is 3:04. Here's the forecast.
A dry forecast as we close out the work week, head into the weekend, and then head into early next week as areas of high pressure will bring us sunshine and dry conditions. The rest of this afternoon looks sunny. We'll see a high of 83. Clear tonight will drop down to 57. Tomorrow then mostly sunny as we reach a high of 80. A cold front that moves through late tomorrow drops our temperature noticeably beginning tomorrow night. With clear skies, we dip down to 49 by early Saturday morning. Later Saturday, sunny and nice, up to 71. The nice weather continues to end the weekend on Sunday. Sunshine mixed with a few clouds, a high again of 71. With high pressure still in control early next week, no rain in our forecast and more sunshine for Monday. Another beautiful day with a high of 75. This is meteorologist Bill Degger in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wall Street, the Dow up 175 points, the NASDAQ is up 245, and the S&P is ahead 41 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I can't get the signal. Okay, seriously. Now there's absolutely no excuse not to listen to WTIC News Talk 1080. You can literally hear us anywhere when you listen on your smartphone. And now you can hear us on the Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and the TuneIn app. So pick your favorite and search and follow WTIC News Talk 1080 in the app. Then listen wherever you are. It's really that easy. So no more, I can't get the signal. We've made it easy. WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
Do you know a veteran in need? After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs.
I
Today, Nation's
understood
Finest operates more than 30 locations in
pushing them
California,
there.
Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org or 833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Yeah, we are back and kicking it live for 2-5 right here on Reese on the radio. Let's get to your phone calls real quick, and then we'll get the headlines. My homegirl, Julie in Boston, is on the line. Hello, ma'am.
Hey.
What's going on?
Well, hang on one second here. I got to get you off the speaker.
Okay.
So, like I texted you, Stephen Colbert came from the Jon Stewart show.
Yeah.
And I think he figured he was going to, carry that type of thing on. But there's a reason why Jon Stewart and Bill Maher are not on network television, because not that many people give a flying fig about that kind of, quote, comedy or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was just a waste. And I'm besides myself that people are freaking out over him being fired for his free speech when they don't care that Charlie Kirk was killed for his free speech.
Yeah, the fact that they are
ridiculous.
treating it like it didn't even happen. I had a discussion today with an older woman out of Chicago, and I go back and forth with her. She is an avid MSNBC watcher, cannot stand Trump. And of course, she posts this thing about, people standing outside of Jimmy Kimmel Live's studios, screaming. It's like, Jimmy Kimmel has been fired. This is an attack on free speech. And I just sent her the picture that I posted yesterday right here, which says got fired. If you believe that Charlie Kirk's words had consequences, why wouldn't you think yours do? And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing is everybody thought, those of you cheering, those of you saying that he did say some awful things, if you thought that his words had consequences, which, by the way, no one has ever disputed, you ask them, do you think that Charlie Kirk's words had consequences? They never dispute that. Well, they had consequences, but maybe not death. Okay, fine. You got fired. So what? You lost the job.
Exactly.
Charlie lost his life. You got to tell me where the two are similar.
No, they're not at all. You're right. And when before Elon Musk bought Twitter and Twitter was banning all these conservative people were like, oh, well, it's a private company. They can do what they want.
Exactly.
Now, all of a sudden, it's private companies can't do what they want when they want to get rid of him. And
exactly.
He's a comedian. He can go on the road and he can spew all of his ish, whatever he wants, and people can pay if they want to pay to see that. I don't want to see that.
Yeah,
So,
you know what? That's the most valid part about all of this, Julie, and that is that it's not like he can't go elsewhere. And the other part is the private business argument. It's always two-sided. As I remember, I was having a conversation not too long ago. People were upset about it. But the fact that I said, I think it was Courtney who called in, where I said, the Muslim baker can say to the gay couple, not baking your cake. The Christian baker, nope, got to make the cake. I'm like, did you not hear yourself? Like, dude, it just happened a second ago. And that's what it is. And it's these conditional biases and then conditional arguments for free speech that happen instantaneous. And the only thing they're trying to suggest to us is that, look, we do believe that the rules, there should never be any equal playing field for anyone. If we disagree with you, you've got to adhere. If we agree with you, of course, just business as usual. So it's crazy. I hear you, Julie. I totally hear you. Thank you as always. God bless you.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
And Roseanne, be safe. Be safe on your ride, Roseanne.
You got her number. Give her a call.
I know, but maybe she's listening.
I know she's listening. Thank God. I appreciate you.
Bye.
All right. Let's go to Craig in the car. What's going on, big guy?
Man, these politicians are so intellectually dishonest. Okay, so Colbert and Kimmel getting fired is an attack on free speech.
Yeah.
So let's take a walk. Let's take a walk down memory lane.
Mm-hmm.
Tucker Carlson.
Yep.
Bill O'Reilly, Greta Van Susteren, Megyn Kelly, Juan Williams. I guess that's not an attack.
Oh
on
my
free
goodness,
speech.
that's right. What did Juan Williams is a perfect example because he's one of theirs. And what was he fired from? He was on it was NPR, right? That was his job at NPR.
It was NPR. And he said after he got fired that Fox was the only place he could go.
Exactly. In fact, that was the interesting part. It was Roger Ailes, because he was already a contributor on Fox News, gave him a 2-year contract for $1 million a year after NPR fired him. And what did they fire him for? When he said as a commentator that honestly, sometimes I am a little nervous whenever I'm on a plane and a Muslim is on the plane. And they fired him for being insensitive or Islamophobic as they do it. And they're talking about Juan Williams, a guy who has been a champion for NPR and liberal ideals for generations. And one comment, he was out of there.
Exactly, in a heartbeat. So let's talk about an actual threat to democracy. Jim Hines and Knucklehead there.
Yeah.
The state of Connecticut has 5 representatives and 2 senators in Washington.
Damn, yeah.
All of them are Democrats, and the state of Connecticut voted 41% for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's a threat to democracy.
Couldn't agree more.
That is taxation with no representation. We have nobody representing our voices in D.C.
Yeah, and even with 41%, there should be at least, what do you say? It's like altogether, what was it, 7 representatives? Okay, and you would think we get 2 at least.
Well, that's how town governments typically run. You have a board of selectmen, and it's typically the top 2 vote getters, in even if they're in the same party, but the minority party is always represented by the third person.
Right.
And it goes back and forth. One election, it could be 2 Republicans and a Democrat. The other way, it could flip the other direction. But at least there's some voice in that town city hall.
Yeah. Well, I know that these bozos don't believe in that. And again, I look at this Jimmy Kimmel thing. They needed, I'll tell you this. This is really what this is about, Craig. They needed a distraction from the Charlie Kirk thing. And they really think that this is a winning argument.
Well, they're just digging a deeper hole.
Oh, it couldn't get worse for them.
Look, both of these guys are free to continue their careers, just like the aforementioned people from Fox that I spoke about.
Yep.
Nobody's stopping them from doing that, and I'll never forget Rush Limbaugh's. He had a phrase that he used to use, that everybody has a right to speech, nobody has a right to be heard.
That's right. That's a very good point. Yeah. Thank you, boss. As always. Yeah, it's look, all of this is foolish. And as much as these people are losing their minds over Jimmy Kimmel, which, by the way, there is no guarantee he's not coming back. Sinclair is saying that he's got to make some contributions, make a sizable contribution to the Kirk family. That's one. And clearly he's going to have to come on the air and apologize. But let me say this. This is what I truly think what should happen for Jimmy Kimmel if he really, really wants to get this right. Sinclair and Nexstar, they service I would say, an arena in our politics or in our culture that doesn't necessarily like Jimmy Kimmel. They wouldn't listen to him, and they feel maligned by him. They would probably not trust Jimmy Kimmel to come back and do a different kind of show. But the contract is up next year in 2026. And I think what's going to happen is one of 2 things. They're going to tell Jimmy, come back and do comedy that doesn't alienate, or take a pay cut so that we can salvage the whole thing. Come back and apologize, but take a pay cut. Because, like I said, I saw the numbers. He's losing way too much money for ABC. And I get you. Michael A., I'm in agreement. Michael A. in the chat room said it's a worthless apology. It is. But who's he apologizing to? The only reason why any of us know it is because someone else posted it. If you watch Jimmy Kimmel, then you would have seen it live when it was said. But nobody watches that on the conservative side. And according to his ratings, nobody watches the show. So the only reason why we heard about it was because somebody made it available to us. So I wouldn't want him to give an apology because, in essence, he doesn't speak to me every night. He used to. And by the way, I'll be the first to tell you, huge Jimmy Kimmel fan earlier. When the first season, when he came on, it was appointment television for me because I thought the stuff he did was hilarious. Stephen Colbert changed everything, and then he had to follow suit. And he even openly admitted that it was worth it for him. Oh, yeah, I know I lost a lot of audience, but I don't care. It was important to do it. So he made I would say he made a talent decision that he was going to alienate half the country, that he had animus towards people, and he couldn't just leave it to the president. He had animus towards people who followed the president. It was a personal thing to him. Okay. That's the way you want to go. That's the way you're going to go. We got Dr. Steve on the line. What's up, Dr. Steve?
Hey, can you hear me okay, Reese?
I can hear you fantastic now. A little bit of an echo, but I'm sure that's because the radio's up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll turn it down.
That's okay.
Cool.
What's up?
First off, enjoying the show today. You're making some great comments about the hypocrisy regarding free speech, which we, of course, see on both sides all the time. And I think it's spot on. It's totally spot on.
Okay.
I do wish that Donald Trump had taken advantage of this opportunity to try and unify the country. He seems incapable of trying to do that. He's always looking for division. You know, the first words he was saying, I don't have the exact quote in my mind, but it was something like, oh, the radical left lunatics are at it again. They're spewing hate. This is what causes this. But as opposed to trying to say, let's universally stop doing this. Let's accept the fact that both sides are breeding this. In fact, we know that the majority of these attacks have been perpetrated by right-wing extremists, not.
Do you know where that number's from? Do you know where that number's from, Dr. Steve?
The Department of Justice?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right that it is the Department of Justice. But do you know the inside baseball of that statistic?
I have not looked into that. No, educate me.
No, it's no problem. So for those of you who are listening as I speak to Dr. Steve, here's the truth. So the reason why the numbers are skewed, and Chris Murphy actually made a post about this that says that there are more right-wingers that commit acts of violence than left-wingers do. The number that's being used to take conservatives over the 50% mark is anyone who was arrested on January 6th, with that number is in like a little more than 1,000.
Yeah,
and
1,500 or so.
That's right. And the people who were arrested were not arrested, not all of them were arrested for violent acts. So if you participated in January 6th, even in a tourism way, like walking through the Capitol, that is then added on to the quote-unquote right-wing violence because it's all associative. So if you have over 1,600 people associated with, as they put it, violent attacks by conservatives on January 6th, the numbers are skewed. Instead of taking one event, because that's what it was, one event, you're counting them by the numbers individually as opposed to, because every violent attack, by the way, is committed by an individual, right?
Well, I can't agree with that.
Yeah, no, and that's fair to agree with it because that's my point. My point is that they're committed by an individual. But if you have one event on one day that ensnares 1,600 people, you can count those 1,600 people against, 25 events? Because in essence, you're counting 1,600 events.
No, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I didn't call the debate that issue.
No. I didn't want to say that, Steve. I'm just saying that when you're looking at that statistic, it is important to put them into context. But I will go one step. I'll go one step further.
Okay.
Every person that died on January 6th, with the exception of Ashley Babbitt, was not related to the events of January 6th. Yes?
I don't agree. I've looked into that in some detail as a physician at the records of the different folks who died within the aftermath of that. And again, I didn't call the debate that, but I do feel like we talk about morbidity and mortality in medicine, and I think the PTSD and like severe PTSD of the law enforcement people who were violently attacked, the experience of that event for them and their feeling of defenselessness, their feeling of physical harm, their knowing that they had such an important job to do and they were being attacked by their own people, that leaves an indelible mark, which ultimately leads to psychological distress and ultimately led to the suicide of at least 3 of them. I haven't looked at the data in a little bit, but there's mortality that happens not on the battlefield, as we know.
I can understand that.
There's a great deal of damage from PTSD.
I can understand.
I can't imagine.
Dr. Steve, hold on for a second. I can totally understand that, but that wouldn't account for a January 6th death because, again, I'm just going by statistics here. I don't want to seem like I'm being insensitive to people taking their own life or dying. I don't. I have no issue with that, and I'm not going to – of course, I won't go back and forth with you on that. However, let's go one step further. You do understand that when we're thinking about the amount of violence that's happening, right? Like people keep saying that there's language on both sides, right? So let's talk about the language on both sides. They say that Democrats are being called communists and socialists. They say that Republicans are called fascists and Nazis. But we have people on the left who were self-identifying as communists. I had one of them on the program, and as socialists, as in Mamdani and AOC and Bernie Sanders. So these people are, there is nobody in the Conservative Party self-identifying as a fascist or a Nazi.
Well, you could argue the folks in Charlottesville absolutely would, but from the riots that happened several years ago, there's definitely a neo-Nazi movement in the United States.
The neo-Nazi movement in the United States is a tale old as time. But that being said, so there are individuals who get lumped in just because of their belief system that they are fascists and Nazis. And that rhetoric, in essence, is not proven by any facts. It is the way in which they wish to determine to their audience or to the people who are supportive of them that they are enemies of the state. They are destructive, a destructive force that will, if you allow them, will kill people, put them in prisons and all of those things. So we do have one group of people who are being maligned in such a way that people are being made to feel like they are going to be the lone wolf sort of protector of the rest of us, like self-anointed. So if you're talking about this back and forth that's going on, I would say that there's a measure of which one group is saying, oh, I don't mind being called the socialist. By the way, we have the data that says that Democrats are quite okay with socialism. The number's gone up over 40% in the past 10 years. Where Republicans, there's never been any sort of growing interest in becoming fascists and dictators. In fact, on their side, they're growing more towards capitalism, which, by the way, is being associated with Nazism.
Sure. Well, I guess I would say, from your perspective, 60% of the hate messaging is coming from Democrats. You'd agree, though, that 40% might be coming from the Republican Party. I mean, we can debate about what proportion it is, but I'm hoping that both of us would agree that hate speech is coming from both sides.
Well, I hate the term hate speech.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking, but when I say hating it, because I'm saying that there is no determination of it. It's like anybody calls it hate speech if it affects them, because I think that that's arbitrary in most cases. I will call it this way. Is there hyperbolic rhetoric? Yes, there is. But if I were to ask, and I think that you would find this very truthful, and in fact, the Rutgers study is a perfect example of that. By the way, you're a doctor. I hope you actually check out that study. If you have 55% of one party saying that it was okay to assassinate Donald Trump, and you ask the other party if they're okay with assassinating a president, and the Democrats say 55% and the Republicans say 7%, it's fair to say which side believes that violence is a means to a political end, right?
Oh, well, but you'd have to do the flip, right? You'd have to say what percentage of Republicans felt that political violence would be okay against say, Barack Obama.
7%.
No, I'm saying like during Obama's administration, I really find it hard to believe that 7% would have felt that way.
No.
Right.
If you believe that, look, let's call it say it. I just want you to, and I want you to really, because you're a doctor, and I want to give you, and I think you're a critical thinker, Dr. Steve. So let's look at this in this perspective. We already had a nation that would call anyone in opposition to Barack Obama a racist. You didn't like his tax policy? You were a racist. You didn't like what he thought about health care? You were a racist. Why is he wearing that tan suit? You're a racist. Everything was met with racism. So, that
Very
being said,
right,
exactly. So imagine somebody would have done a January 13th to Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think that would have been helpful to any opposing cause? Everybody would have been forced to shut up and never criticize him.
Yeah. Granted.
Okay.
No,
because I look at it this way. I'll take George W. Bush as a perfect example. That man wrote in his own book that when Kanye West said George W. Bush doesn't like black people, it crushed him to his core.
Yeah.
Which again is that's the post-racial world we live in, where we had the biggest response to African Americans with this level of, white fragility, apology, assuaging guilt. We had an entire culture of that after Barack Obama.
Yeah. I feel like I'm hearing you saying, though, Reese, that the Republican Party writ large does not engage in a significant way in violent rhetoric and they don't engage in extremist violence.
I'm saying that if there is an alt-right in the country, because I can't say if there is or there isn't, but if there's an alt-right, it is not a categorical threat in the way in which the left has responded. And the only reason why I say that is that I look at how many people died during the BLM riots. I look at how much damage has been done during the BLM and Antifa riots. I look at the actual cost and livelihood. States like Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington, and Ferguson, Missouri, and Minneapolis. I've watched every one of those cities burn as a result of left-wing ideology. So that's what I'm kidding now. I got to get up out of here, Dr. Steve. It's always a pleasure, man. I know you. If I haven't told you, my friend, I love you for calling, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Reese.
You got it, man. All right, let's take a break. Let's get to some news with John Silva right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And now, a WTIC news update.
81 degrees. We'll keep the sunshine for this afternoon. Temps in the low 80s. We'll have the forecast details coming up. More information released by Windsor Police today on that incident which delayed the dismissal of schools in town on Wednesday. They say it was a man experiencing a mental health episode on Matthew Lane. Gunshot was heard from within, but there were no injuries. They were able to ultimately coax the person and his brother out of the home without injury. Republican state lawmakers say they're being left in the dark regarding proposals to keep the WNBA's Connecticut Sun from fleeing the state. Democrats are considering using state pension funds to purchase a minority stake in the team. GOP leaders expressed concerns today at a news conference. President Trump has signed what he's calling a historic agreement on science and technology with Britain. Held a news conference with Prime Minister Starmer. Trump and Starmer held a roundtable with business leaders as they signed that deal today. Jimmy Kimmel's TV future hangs in the balance after ABC yanked his late night show following the host's comments about Charlie Kirk's killing. The comments prompted dozens of stations to say they wouldn't air the show, a move that was cheered by one top federal regulator. Attorney General William Tong has filed for a preliminary injunction to immediately halt the Trump administration's stop work order on Revolution Wind. The administration cited national security concerns for doing that. Officials say a Jordanian aid truck driver opened fire and killed 2 people at the Israeli-run border crossing in the occupied West Bank today. The Israeli military says 4 more soldiers were killed in southern Gaza. WTIC News Time 3:32. Here's the forecast.
For the rest of this afternoon, we'll see bright sunshine as we end our Thursday with a high of 83. Tonight will be clear, we'll drop down to 57. A nice end to the work week tomorrow as well, mostly sunny with a high of 80. Then a cold front moves through. No precipitation with it, but it will drop our temperature tomorrow night. Clear skies, low 49, and it will be cooler to start the weekend on Saturday. Sunny but nice, a high of 71. This is meteorologist Bill Dager in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wall Street, the Dow up 125, NASDAQ's up 227, S&P's up 35 points. That is the top of the 7th, and the A's lead the Red Sox at Fenway 4-2. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Every moment counts if you're at risk or living with lung cancer. And anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. It causes more cancer deaths than breast, colon, and prostate combined. And while there may be moments where you question your next step, through it all, Go-To for Lung Cancer is here for you. We are your community. For screening, treatment, and survivorship support, Go-To is your go-to. Confronting lung cancer starts here. Visit goto.org.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Do you know a veteran in need? Nation's Finest, through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, helps veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada, helping thousands of veterans every year. Visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
I'm okay. You're not okay. It's normal to have diarrhea and stomach pains. Sometimes, but not as often as you do. I've got this under control. No, you don't.
It's time to let that voice inside your head be heard. Urgent diarrhea and chronic stomach pain can be signs of Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation can help you learn more and even find a specialist. Don't keep your symptoms to yourself. Get help at spillyourguts.org.
Life is like a roller coaster. It has its high and low moments, zooming through our lives. Sometimes we feel excited and and other times we feel numb to the world around us. Low moments are a part of life. They help us cherish the good times. That's why it's important to reach out when life's lows stop us in our tracks. Connect with someone now. Call 211 or text 988.
Our
More critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs, tailored to fit their needs to ensure they rejoin their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org today.
It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
I was hoping that the game would be over by now, but we're still waiting on the Red Sox game to finish up. What are we looking at the score there? It doesn't look like the Red Sox are doing oh, it gets worse. It's like really, really bad. It's now 5-2. There's a look at the score if you're watching online. But it looks like we're at the bottom of the 7th now. Red Sox are up. Hopefully, they can get a couple of runs in the next 2.5. So we'll keep our eye on that as well. So I'm going to do something a little different since we're online today. And normally I would, you know what? We'll just do it that way, and then I'll just make the changes. Time for headlines. And our first story must be categorized.
Negro nonsense. How dare you? Negro nonsense. How dare you? Negro nonsense. How dare you?
Yes, Negro nonsense starts off our headlines today. Kamala Harris rejected Pete Buttigieg and chose Tim Walz as her running mate because Pete Buttigieg is gay and has a husband. Yeah, the reason why she didn't choose Pete Buttigieg, which, by the way, in comparison, would have been a serious choice as vice president. If it had been Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg, I believe they would have actually corralled enough support as far as Democrat people go. But Kamala Harris says because, think about this again, a campaign that was glorifying the fact that there was so much diversity in it. And it was preaching this diversity is our strength. Said the reason why she didn't choose Pete Buttigieg was because she's allegedly black. Her husband is Jewish. Pete is gay and is married to a man. You couldn't get more diverse than that. She shied away from it. That message from the administration. She didn't just shy away from Joe Biden. Well, she shied away from criticizing him, but she didn't just shy away from that. She didn't just shy away from conservatives. She shied away from her own party. She shied away from everyone in her party, everything that they stand for, identity politics, sexual orientation, all of that stuff, all of it. I mean, everything about their campaign would have been a powerhouse in the grand scheme of things. It would have been a leftist dream house, a major ticket, black woman, Jewish husband, gay vice president. Are you kidding me? It would toss Geraldine Ferraro's first right out the window. Hell, it would have eclipsed Hillary Clinton's campaign. And they chose the other way. They grabbed jazz hands, Tim Walz. Instead, the guy that is now referred to as Tampon Tim. She chose the guy that we called Tampon Tim for a guy who might be partial to tampons. Might be. It's absolutely insane. In other news, hey, remember that story about the Connecticut homeowner who had all of the anti-Trump stuff all over his house with a bunch of expletives? Well, he's joining Jimmy Kimmel on the unemployment line. Yeah, apparently some people say that they doxed him and contacted his job at Ivanhoe Tool and Die Company. And I don't look, this is the thing that I don't understand about this story. You allowed the newspaper to cover your efforts to bash the Trump administration in full view. Front page stuff. They caught a picture of you holding a gun in front of your house with you defaced your own home with anti-Trump and anti-MAGA rhetoric. And your complaint is that somebody figured out who you were? Like what? I don't understand it, but there we are. This one's interesting because I would really, really like to understand this story. Now, I know that the news media might not dig deep into this, but this story comes out of the New Haven Register, and I want to thank Dave for always, bringing them up. But think about this. So, according to Lyman High School, parents and administrators are raising concerns about the declining enrollment in the school's music program, which has struggled to run courses and sustain participation since the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the dramatic decline in participation in the school program at the Lyman High School in Wallingford says that they used to have 106 students in the school's band. It is now down to 28 members. From 106 to 28 members. Also, the school's chorus, which used to have 70 students or participants, is now down to 18. They're saying that there have been struggles, like post-pandemic education. They're saying that there were budget constraints and other extracurricular activities. Well, I know that the New Haven Register is probably not going to do it, but perhaps they should reach out to some of the parents whose children are no longer participating. Was it graduation? Was it what was the disinterest in the program? Because having 106 kids in the band, I was in band when I was a kid. I don't remember that many people being, we had a lot of people in our band, but I don't remember that many people. That's a lot. And to have it dwindle down to 18, not even half, or 28, I apologize, not even half, it seems, suspicious. So I don't know what that deal is. It just seems just weird. Unless something else is going on. Anyway, let's get to our stupidest thing that we've read today.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Before we do that, let's see if we can get Tim in Hamden to apologize. Tim, you're on. Let's get an apology out of here real quick for your lie about Charlie Kirk. Are you going to apologize to the audience and myself for that statement about stoning gays?
Oh, you mean the one I posted?
I just want to know whether or not you are going to apologize for.
Did I post it on your site?
No, sir.
His words.
The words were.
His words.
Will you apologize? Will you apologize for your statement that Charlie Kirk said that he wishes to stone gays?
No, I never said that.
Okay, goodbye. You had your shot. That's okay. Call up when you're ready to say I apologize. Okay? Just so you're not banned. You can't speak on this program until you say I apologize. So we understand that what Charlie Kirk said, so we get it right, Charlie Kirk said, and I quote, in responding to Rachel, a caller, who's quoted Leviticus. And in quoting Leviticus, he then said, it then says in Leviticus that you should stone gays, when she suggested that that was the reason why she was supportive of them. He was just quoting the Bible. He never called for the stoning of gays. And if you can't just call and say, I was wrong for saying that he suggested that you should, or it was okay to, or that he was in any way a proponent of it, don't bother. Just do that. That's it. That's the only thing you can do. It's not a ban, okay? It's a condition. There's a difference. It's okay if you don't call back. We're good. It's okay. Now, again, the stupidest thing I read today. Strip club executives are under fire, well, let's just say the end, criminal, because they bribed an auditor with private dances, free trips to avoid paying millions of dollars in taxes, according to the charges. Executives at a company that owns strip clubs around the country have been charged with bribing a New York official with free trips to some of their venues and private dances to avoid paying more than $8 million in sales taxes. This, according to authorities, on Tuesday. The Houston-based RCI Hospitality Holdings and its corporate leaders received a favorable treatment during the last 6 tax audits that were performed over a decade in exchange for the perks given to a state auditor. New York State Attorney Letitia James said that she alleges that RCI gave the auditor at least 13 complimentary trips to Florida, including hotels and meals, plus up to $5,000 per day of private dances at the strip club. These clubs included, only because I want to say this was one of the clubs. There's apparently a club called Tootsie's Cabaret. The auditor also received free dances, food, admission to clubs in New York. He actually made out pretty good. $5,000. $5,000 a day in lap dances. I don't even know what that looks like. Like how many, after a while, wouldn't you just be bored? I don't want to spend $5,000. Like, that's, how long does a lap dance last? Isn't it like a song? Who would?
However long you got the money for.
Yeah, apparently. Wait. $5,000 a day. Who would do that? That's a lot of money. I mean, unless like the lap dance was like $1,000 a song, but that sounds ridiculous. But yeah, that's the stupidest thing I read today. That's where we are in our state. Let me see. Do we still do our 50 break? Because I guess it's coming up, right? We don't do. We're going straight through.
Straight to 7.
Okay, no problem. All right, we'll go to the top of we'll go to the news and traffic coming up. In fact, we've got to mention that filling in for Bob Larson today is Bill Digger, who will be here today and tomorrow. And we got Tom O'Hanlon's coming back tomorrow. I'm really excited for him to be back. We miss his voice. Let me see. I want to read in the chat room. Let me see. 8 years we heard about how Trump belongs in jail and should be taking out from every left-leaning news channel and libs. Yep, that's exactly it. I'm not playing that ridiculous game with him today. And when we come back, I'm going to go over, for those of you who may have missed it, some of this stuff about the Jimmy Kimmel breakdown, stuff that you may have missed and did not know. Also coming up, we've got 2 tickets to go see Gutfeld Live 25, featuring Greg Gutfeld and Tom Shalhoub on Sunday, September 21st at 6 p.m. at the Premier Theater at Foxwoods. And you can go to foxwoods.com if you wish to buy those tickets on your own. All right, so stand by for that and much, much more. What was the other? I had some other audio that I needed to play here as well, which I'm going to get to, which was, we'll get to that in a second. I don't want to give that one away. I'm going to hold on to that for a minute. So stand by. We've got a whole bunch of other stuff to get into. There is ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Don't forget to go there. You got to go to REESE on the radio.com. Check out this week's Substack. I haven't decided what it's going to be on. It may be on the Jimmy Kimmel story, but that might be dead by then. But it's always an interesting read. I usually try to keep the tempo of stuff that's going on. I don't like to do a lot of national stuff. I like to keep it right here in Connecticut. So I will try my best to keep it local so that you guys can enjoy it, or at least it has something that's relative to you in the news cycle. Looks like, hey, Boston, get them out. All right, now we're talking. They're back in this. It's now 5-3. It's now 5-3. And I didn't know this. Do you want to follow baseball at all, Roland? Is that your thing?
No, I don't follow baseball.
You don't follow baseball at all? As a gambler, I thought it would. I thought at least that would be more interesting to you.
No, you have to be knowledgeable about something to gamble on.
Oh yeah, well, you didn't follow baseball at all, like even growing up.
No, I never played, never followed. Wow. I did softball, but not baseball.
Yeah, softballs. Yeah, they're completely different. So you didn't do baseball. That's weird. Is that a vicinity thing, like from where you grew up? Because like baseball wasn't really like you didn't have a baseball field when you grew up.
No, just people in my neighborhood play football and basketball.
Yeah, I know. No, that much I know. I had this big argument with somebody many years ago. It was roughly about 2009, 2010. I remember having this discussion with someone, and it was about the reason why kids in the inner city don't play baseball is because they only put basketball hoops in our neighborhood. And I went, yeah, that's a good point. And I remember asking the guy, I was like, well, you don't go outside of your neighborhood? The guy looked at me like I had three heads. He was like, no. I was like, well, you don't go to other neighborhoods? Like you meet kids? And it's like, no, I don't see any reason to. I was like, I didn't realize that. Like that people do not venture out of their own neighborhoods. I did that as a kid. It was, you know what the movie that I really identified with, even though I still haven't seen it in a long time, that movie Stand By Me.
Oh, yeah.
Because what I knew as a kid was that you went and you ventured in places that were so far away from home that, you knew you were probably going to get in trouble, but you still did it. It's like the Goonies. Like, why did the Goonies find the treasure? Because they went in a place that they were never allowed to go. But technically, that's kind of what all kids did. They went in.
Yeah, but they almost died. So I wouldn't advise you to use Goonies as an example. They
okay,
maybe
not. But when I was a kid, I remember when I was 15, 16 years old, I was homeless at the time, of course. But, people that I hung out with, like Doug and Rome, both of us, all three of us, we get some money together from packing groceries and we get on the subway train, go out to Manhattan. We would be in the middle. From Queens, that was an hour and a half ride on the train. And we'd go to Times Square. We'd go to Port Authority, to the arcade. Like, we would venture into the entirely different city. I had a girl that I used to see all the way in Spanish Harlem. That was at least 2 hours from where I lived. Named Diana. Great kisser. But, I would go all the way out there to go visit her from time to time. And again, I was a teenager. It was unheard of to be stuck in your own neighborhood. That got boring after a while. So
yeah.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever leave your neighborhood?
Well, we rode bikes, so we was.
There you go.
We was everywhere. We was in whole 2 towns over, and
see.
So yeah.
Did you ever get into trouble?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you did.
We would ride fast as we could back home.
Did you ever get chased by a neighborhood, like the neighborhood kids, like when they realized that you weren't from their town?
No, we never got chased because we always went over there to play football and stuff. But we got chased by dogs more than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've been chased by a dog or two. But I got chased by people going into a new neighborhood. Because that's how you know how tight-knit a town is. Like when you roll up in the neighborhood, people will recognize you and they know, recognize you. But they realize by looking at you, yeah, those kids aren't from around here. And they would chase us because they knew we weren't from the neighborhood. So they knew they couldn't really get in trouble if they caught us and beat us up because we wouldn't even know where we were, right? So it's like people were like, what are you going to do, come back to the neighborhood? You guys are too far away from home. So I just, I always thought that was interesting. That anytime we went far off into a neighborhood, we avoided other kids our age because, especially if we were on bikes, we knew that you go into the wrong neighborhood, you are not coming home with that bike, my friend.
Yeah.
You go into the wrong
coming home walking.
Exactly. And I only had one bike taken from me. And I was and it's funny because now I didn't realize it until after the fact. I had a motorbike taken from me. And it was I didn't realize it until afterwards, but at the time that it was taken, the guy who was dealing on that corner was none other than Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
Wow.
On the corner I got it stolen from. I didn't realize that until years later. I found out. I was just like, I know that kid. Sure enough, and I was in my grandmother's neighborhood in South Jamaica, Queens, way far from Hollis. And the guy, turns out that the block that I was on, Curtis was right on that corner. And from what they allege, somebody said that it was on his order that the dude took the bike. Because, apparently he was kind of like, a big deal even then. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
He was that guy out there at the time.
He was. South Jamaica was no joke. I don't even know what I was doing in that neighborhood, other than the fact that my grandmother lived there. I don't know what I was doing there. Oh, those were the days. Getting robbed, your bike stolen. Believe it or not, kids, you say that it's a horrible thing to happen to you. Not that it wasn't, but it's an experience when you get your bike taken. It's an experience. It's one that you can look back on. It gives you a sense of your surroundings. You're very, very careful after the fact. Let's get to the weather and traffic. Like I said, Bill Dager's in for Bob Larson and Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, you ever had a bike taken from you or stolen from you as a kid?
No, I remember this girl, though, who's older than me. I first started riding a bike. I got in trouble because she kept running me off the road, and I think I took a swing at her.
Wow!
Yeah, I was like 5 years old.
Was she running you off the road? Was she older than you?
Yeah, she was probably 3 or 4 years older than me.
Oh, my goodness, what a
but
bully!
I got in trouble because you're not supposed to hit girls, and I took a swing at her, I think.
Even though she's trying to road rage you.
Yeah, but you can't hit girls. And
No, you can't. You can't.
So, it was a lesson learned there. But I've never had my bike stolen, so that's...
it's an experience.
But I didn't live in Hollis, Queens either.
No.
So
there you go.
a little bit different there. I remember going to New York, seeing the Bronx for the first time when I was in 8th grade. We were driving in to see, I think we were going to see Grease on Broadway. That was our class
Holy
trip.
moly.
And I couldn't believe, it was like car after car up on cinder blocks, stripped down. And I was like, wow.
That's right. You went in the 70s.
Yeah, and this was 1978. And I was like, man, this is wild here, man.
Yeah, it was wild, my friend.
Yeah, the principal got on the bus at the end of the show, at the end of Grease, and said, this type of behavior that you just saw will not be tolerated. And I was thinking, yeah, we're graduating in like 2 weeks, dude. Calm down. Relax. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 34 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is slowing just after 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, you're tied up 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 291 eastbound's a little slow. I-91 to the Bissell. 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury to Marlboro. A little slow 9 northbound Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound Waterbury slowing 23 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound slowing 17 to 18. And again, from 26 in Cheshire down to the 691 interchange. If you're traveling northbound on the Parkway, look for delays now. New Haven into Hamden between 46 and 52. And South 95 New Haven slows 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Democratic lawmakers are criticizing the Trump administration's handling of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
One of the great hallmarks of our country is free speech, whether you agree or disagree. And this administration is trying to snuff it out. They don't want people to even speak when they don't like what they say.
California Congressman Ro Khanna has introduced a motion to subpoena FCC Chair Brendan Carr to appear before the House Oversight Committee.
This administration has initiated the largest assault on the First Amendment and free speech in modern history. They're making comedy illegal. Brendan Carr pressured ABC to cancel Jimmy Kimmel, and Disney cancels Jimmy Kimmel.
President Trump headed back to D.C. after a second state visit to the United Kingdom. Today he met with Prime Minister Keir Starmer as the trip shifted from pomp and circumstance to trade and policy. Natalie Brand reports.
President Trump and the First Lady left the United Kingdom after meeting today with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, both leaders stressing the close bond between the two nations. They inked a new tech partnership focused on energy and artificial intelligence, with several U.S. tech giants pledging billions of dollars in investments.
Trump also confirmed he will be speaking to Chinese President Xi tomorrow to discuss the TikTok deal. Owner of a popular Hartford area restaurant now under arrest in East Hartford. Police there say she passed a bad check while purchasing restaurant equipment. 33-year-old Gina Luari. She owns the Place to Be with two locations, one in Hartford, one in West Hartford. The complaint was first filed in July. Luari is accused of paying over $10,000 for $10,000 in equipment from the restaurant Paradise in town by using a bad check. Police say the check she used was returned due to a closed account and insufficient funds. Luari is charged with issuing a bad check and larceny. Education and elected officials gathered today to talk up several initiatives they say are aimed at making higher education more accessible to students. One establishes early enrollment programming across the state. About 10,000 early college students are enrolled in the CSCU system. Governor Lamont says it's a game changer for high schoolers looking to get a jump on their college education.
Take some courses here at Tunx's. Maybe take some courses at CCSU or Southern, and it gets you on a glide path with less resistance. And by the way, gives you a head start when you're in college and saves you some money because you've already got some credentials. Makes a difference.
In addition, the Mary Ann Henley Program and Award helps students complete their education debt-free. They say they're not opposed to keeping the WNBA's son in Connecticut, but top state Republicans want to know more about the governor's plan to use state pension funds to buy a minority stake in the team. Here's WTIC's Dave Mager.
The Republicans say they're being left in the dark about a plan that would put millions in pension fund dollars on the line. Senate Minority Leader Stephen Harding wants more details about the governor's goals.
Which is it, Governor? Economic development or prudent investment? Because you can't have it both ways. Because you're messing around with public employees' funds here.
Governor Lamont was asked about Republican criticism Wednesday.
They have a constructive alternative. They just criticizing from the sidelines.
The governor calls it a good investment. The Republicans also say decisions about the pension fund should be made by more than just the state treasurer. They want to establish a board to oversee the fund, something they say Democrats have rejected. Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
City leaders in Memphis are pushing back against efforts by the Trump administration to deploy the National Guard to their city to fight crime. Tennessee State Rep Justin Pearson says they need money, not the military.
How can you deprive us of resources and then tell us the only solution is military occupation? We need poverty eradication, not military occupation.
On Wall Street this afternoon, the Dow finished up 124 points, NASDAQ up 209, S&P up 31. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Do you know a veteran in need? After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. As to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit Nation's Finest or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
It's Reese on the Radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
And like clockwork, we always do it. Congratulations goes to Wally F. Wally F. I always like that name, Wally. Wally F. is from Tallinn, and he is our winner of the Between Rounds dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. If you'd like an opportunity to win, you got to go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. And as long as I'm here, I'll be giving them away right about this time. With a minute left before we get another check of traffic and weather that's getting you home, I think it's only appropriate that we do it one more time.
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Yeah, the winner of Negro Nonsense is not just Kamala Harris. It's also none other than repeat antagonizer Jasmine Crockett in Tubbs.
I understood what was kind of pushing them there. And so I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal. That
Oh, goodness gracious. You know, that's all I'm saying. Just because you carjack a car doesn't mean you're a carjacker. Let's get to traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hello, sir.
Well, good afternoon, Reese. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading southbound 91, delays coming down from Windsor from 36 down to 32 A&B. Again, 27 down to 28.
Did she really say that?
Yes! On the northbound side of through downtown up in Windsor. Westbound side of 84 slowing just after 56 Governor Street out to 45. Flatbush 84 eastbound sluggish. Stop and go about a mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 eastbound's a little slow. I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. No problems. 2 eastbound Glastonbury into Marlboro. Heading toward Middletown. 9 northbound a little slow at the Aragodi Bridge. 84 eastbound coming into Waterbury. Delays from 17 up to exit 18. Again, some slow traffic. 25A down to the 691 interchange in Cheshire. Westbound 84 slowing. 25A up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you're on the northbound side of the parkway, look for slow traffic now as you move from exit approaching 46 in New Haven. And it's tight right up to exit 52 in Hamden. Southbound Parkway slowing 50 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 South New Haven tight from 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
And as we head through the rest of this afternoon, mostly sunny skies across the area. Will go up to 83. Clear tonight, down to 57. One more day in the 80s tomorrow before we cool down. Mostly sunny for our Friday, a high of 80. Cold front moves through. Tomorrow night, we'll feel it. Clear skies, low 49. That'll give way to a cooler weekend. Both Saturday and Sunday featuring a good amount of sun. 71 both days. Temperatures back up a hair Monday, 75. Right now, 80 in Bristol, 80 in Middletown, and 82 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bill Degger in the WTIC Weather Center.
Do you know a veteran in need? After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
1 minute.
This is an important public service announcement for our listeners. Reese on the Radio is also a podcast. You can find us anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Catch the full episode, listen by individual hour, or jump straight to the highlights. Just open up your favorite podcast app, search Reese on the Radio, and hit the follow button so you can get every minute of the show your way and on your time. I can't get the signal. Okay, seriously. Now there's absolutely no excuse not to listen to WTIC News Talk 1080. You can literally hear us anywhere when you listen on your smartphone. And now you can hear us on the Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and the TuneIn app. So pick your favorite and search and follow WTIC News Talk 1080 in the app. Then listen wherever you are. It's really that easy. So no more, I can't get the signal.
Here we go.
WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, well, the week is almost coming to an end, and we have no Roseanne. Maybe we'll get her to call in. She should be in town in D.C. by tomorrow. I'm hoping she's doing okay. I'm driving. I haven't checked on her in a bit, but I haven't heard anything. But anyway, there was something interesting that was just written in the chat room. Sundays in Connecticut are honored by blue laws for quite a long time. If I'm right about this, Lori, are you talking about liquor sales in Connecticut? Because I remember that in New Jersey, they had those blue laws, and there were a lot of businesses that did not open up. When I lived in Fort Lee, New Jersey, we had a town that we would go to that would be at the bottom of the hill because Fort Lee kind of sits on a cliff where the George Washington Bridge goes into, but Edgewater is off that cliff down by the river, but of course the Hudson River. And we would go down there to grocery shopping at the Pathmark that was there, entertaining. They had a riverboat for dinner and things like that in Edgewater. And I remember the first time I moved there, and it was just after I left Connecticut. And we moved to Fort Lee, New Jersey, and I got there. And it was wild because I'd never heard of that before. Not that I was like a heavy liquor buyer in Connecticut either. I mean, I was drinking them, but I wasn't wasn't always at the package store. But I just remember that. That was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that, where it was Sunday, so many businesses were closed. It was absolutely the strangest thing. And growing up in New York, you kind of forget that there's another world. It's never made sense to me. It didn't at all. When we come back in the next half an hour, we're going to be back on regular radio at 1080. So you can switch over there if you like, or you can stay where you are on the Odyssey app, WTIC.com or ReeseOnTheRadio.com. But we'll go there. But for those of you who did miss it, we're going to come back and we're going to pretty much sort of revamp the top of the hour, where I'm going to play this stuff from the Jimmy Kimmel stuff and give you sort of a breakdown. And I've got another video that I need to add to the videos I've already put together, which is quite interesting because it's just one more layer in all of this nonsense about, the freedom of speech and what people can or cannot say. And of course, Jimmy Kimmel is in the middle of this. There's a lot of hypocrisy coming out of the mouth of these people in that. So we'll play that in a little bit. So
let me see if I can switch everything over now. I'm gonna put you on commercial.
You're gonna put you really? You're just gonna go so you can switch me over? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If we've got time,
the game is over.
Oh yeah, I saw. And the Red Sox lost. Anyway, but you know what? We'll take a break. We'll come back. Stand by. Reese on the Radio on 1080 returns in a moment.
Every moment counts if you're at risk or living with lung cancer. And any
change your phone too
can get lung cancer. It causes more cancer deaths than breast, colon, and prostate combined. And while there may be moments where you question your next step, through it all,
time as well. Seidan has obviously cooled off in a major way. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, Duran's been above average offensively. Story has been excellent, especially here in September. Bregman was great to begin the season, and then other than that, on a day where Narvaez doesn't start, a day where it's not a lefty, so you don't have Rep Snyder and Romy, the rest of the lineup didn't have a lot of punch to it today, and, well, it's kind of the way it's gone since Roman Anthony got hurt.
I think, the reality, too, is that as you're fighting and clawing, the pitching has been the reason the Red Sox are in this thing. And it's the reason that if they get in, they got a chance with Crochet and Bayo and Giolito, and now this kid Connolly early. It's all right there for them. But to me, it has stood out now lately with teams like the Athletics and the Diamondbacks, where they're having down years. They're not meeting expectations, but Perdomo, Marte, Carroll, and with this athletics team, Butler, Rooker, Kurtz, Soderstrom. These are 3, 4, 5 guys in every lineup that have 20 or more homers. And then you look at the other side. I mean, the Red Sox, Nathaniel Lowe has a few home runs with the Red Sox, but a lot of them with the Nationals. Story with 25 now. Bregman's 17.
Check.
And then it's 2.
Holla.
None,
All right, hold on.
1 and 16. And we all agree that modern baseball probably over-prioritizes the home run, but it's just the way it goes in the game these days.
You've been listening to Red Sox Baseball on WTIC News Talk 1080. We now join our regularly scheduled program.
All right, we're back, right? Okay, good to go. I love it, 100%. I love it when we're back. So in the next half hour, we'll go back into the Jimmy Kimmel thing so that everybody else can join it. If you are just joining us, it's Reese on the Radio right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. You can always go to WTIC.com, download the Odyssey app, or check me out at ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE ontheradio.com. Programming note, you can win a pair of tickets to go see Gutfeld Live 25, featuring Greg Gutfeld of Fox News Channel and his guest, Tom Shalhoub. That is Sunday, the 21st at 6 p.m. at the Premier Theater in Foxwoods. Go to foxwoods.com. Now let's take our good friend Mark in West Hartford, our intrepid reporter. How are you, sir?
So having fun today, and thanks to WTIC Newsroom for outing somebody I've talked about before. In fact, 6 weeks ago, when Luke Bronin kind of announced and went after John Larson hard, I called up and, he's got dozens of grifts, but I just pointed out 3 of them. One was within the first few months of him being the first-term mayor, he just got elected. He flew 33 teachers down to Florida to accept a Excellence in Teaching Award.
Damn.
Cost taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars. 33 of them went down there. So then the next one was, of course, Dunkin' Donut Park, which we just had a settlement. And I'm digging. Remember I told you, $10 million went to Centerplan, the construction company he kicked off the project, and $6 million more went to the hired firms the city jobbed out. And I'm tying in a lot of these firms he's associated with. And some of them have donated to his campaign to become mayor. And I'm trying to see who's also doing it so he could run against John Larson.
Good.
So it's all a grift. But here's the biggest one. And getting back to WTIC, every half hour they're featuring Gina Laurie. She owns a few restaurants called The Place to Be.
Yes.
And
Now
then
this
there's a
is
couple others.
this is the interesting part, is because we talked about this briefly. I think I ran even a couple of clips about her, and that is this young lady who's had several of her locations shut down.
Yes. And guess who? Getting back to the grift with Luke Bronin, just like we saw last month, and it kind of quieted down, Doug McGrory being tied in with NGOs and giving monies out to people. Luke Bronin should be investigated for what he did. So he not only gave Gina one $150,000 grant.
Right.
Now, remember, just keep in mind, people, she's not a restaurateur. She has not proven herself as a businesswoman, a business person who owned anything successful. They didn't give her just one of those. Luke Bronin got her 3 of those.
Right.
They gave her $450,000. WTIC, every half hour, I hear them talking about a check that gone bad for $10,000. Reese,
No, wait a minute.
The other $440,000.
Well, no. You make a good point, but hold on. It's something that you just said that's really, really interesting, because I could have sworn that the story that I just saw from WFSB, you said that the check's not for the check wasn't for $10,000 that's being reported. Wasn't the check for $1,000?
Well, maybe I heard it wrong.
Yeah,
Maybe
I thought
don't know.
when you just said that, now I have to go in and check.
God.
Now
If
I have.
If it's 1,000, then I got to get louder. And
No, it's 10,000.
It is 10,000? Okay.
$39,000.
Okay, hold on. Because the reason why, when you said that, I went, wait a minute, that's not what I just saw, because it just came across. Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, good enough. The owner of the popular Connecticut brunch spot arrested for issuing a bad $10,000 check. Okay, good, because I thought I read somewhere it was 1,000. I was like, why would that be such a deal? Because Lori just said it was like, why such press for a bad check? Well, Lori, let me give you a little bit of a breakdown, and it's the inside baseball that Mark's talking about here. This is what we call the swell. It's the groundswell. Media is now picking up on this $10,000 bounce check because underneath it, there's an uglier story, which is what Mark is sort of illuminating here, is that there's going to be so much damage that comes from this story that so many people are going to get implicated. So this is sort of like the slow leaking of this story coming out, where it's going to be probably much bigger than we expected.
And again, we have another public official elected that will not be questioned on this. I mean, while he's running, somebody should easily just say, hey, yeah, I get it. I hear what you want to do if you actually win, but I got to ask you a question. Let's go back in time.
Right.
Gina, Lori, no one's going to do that.
Yeah, but the only way that's going to happen, Mark, is if there is a challenger that has the goods on it. Because what's going to happen? Like, first of all, we know this business
from the media.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about somebody from the media.
Well, first, they're never, again.
They're never going to.
Right. They don't.
I got to wait for you to come. I got to wait for you. What's got to happen is I got to wait for you.
I know.
Do I have 1 minute to tell you my new approach? Yesterday I just got sick and tired. I go, you know what? Listen, at the rate we're going, nothing's going to change. And we're constantly talking about Chris Murphy as we should.
Yeah.
But now I've got a different approach.
Who are you going after?
I am going to condemn. I'm going to condemn and especially firefighters. I was one of them. I'm scouring social media, and I cannot believe the people cozying up to Chris Murphy. This guy is nothing but hate and divide in his heart. And I'm looking, and there he is in classrooms with little kids.
Yeah.
Who's allowing him in their classrooms? So I'm going after Connecticut teachers, firefighters. You're a cop, and you stand with Chris Murphy. You're a CO. You're a DOT worker. I don't care what the DMV. I don't care where you work. You do not stand with this guy, because you guys will be, you know what? To me, you're a sellout. You have no character.
What do you think they're standing with him for? What do you think their angle is on this?
Oh, it's always paying benefits. And that's fine in the old days. This isn't the old days anymore.
Yeah, but Chris Murphy doesn't. Well, I got to ask you this, because I don't think, does Chris Murphy have any effect on local fire and police pensions? Like, what role does he play?
It's this one nasty stew of everything. So like John Larson's in there too. So they could present bills, let's say a cancer bill.
Gotcha.
Maybe we've got PFAS in our thing. So these guys, so they're all just playing, it's all a grift, because then you got the unions and the union heads and their buddies all feeding off of each other. And that's exactly it. But listen, I don't mind. Listen, I get some of the grift. You want to eat a little bit at the trough. But now the pig that you're eating at the trough with is evil. Why are you gonna dine with this guy now?
It doesn't.
Condemn him.
I don't. You know what? It's 100% truthful, because I kind of feel like there's that lure that you talked about to me very, very early on in my career here at WTIC. But I'll tell you what it is, and it's the inside baseball lure that these people are, in a Connecticut way, celebrities or have a degree of value in the grand scheme. So people are doing what's necessary to get close to these individuals, because it's not easy for them all. And that sort of credibility that's granted with that sort of ponying up or cozying up with certain people, that's where that is. But that's because there wasn't any integrity here in Connecticut with a lot of that stuff. And again, as you pointed out, a lot of people were not held accountable. Like I said, it was when I first heard that Ben Proto, as a Republican, openly said to the news media that I don't think anybody here would ever want to have dinner with Donald Trump. Blew my mind. Outside of the Beltway.
I got him red-handed. He lied live from the RNC, and he said, I repeated this before, but it's
worth repeating.
He told people that he heard Trump regretted saying fight, fight, fight after he was shot, and that the attendees were discouraged from saying fight, fight, fight. That was never the truth, and he had to go, I misspoke. How do you, listen, I've made mistakes speaking before, but I don't even understand how you can
that's the part. I'll tell you like this. I want to find out the biology of that statement, like where it came from, the genesis. What would make him say something that ridiculous, that as if he had an inside track into Donald Trump and Donald Trump said something. It never made any sense to me. Mark, I got to go. I'm going to bring up this Jimmy Kimmel thing when we get back. Thank you, man.
Beta males. That's what it is.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, beta males. It has to do with beta males dominating the Republican Party in Connecticut. That's where it stems from.
Maybe. I don't know.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man. All right. When we come back, I'm going to give you this whole, speaking of of breakdowns, I'm going to break down this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. I've got another piece of audio that I just gathered that I'm going to play for you as well. Oh, I see that Brandon Carr, the FCC chairman, is now on Will Cain's show. I'll grab that during the break, or at least I'll listen to it during the break and report back to you what he's talking about, because he's getting all the heat over the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. We'll have all that in a little bit. Also, don't forget giving away tickets to go see Greg Gutfeld. All right, stand by. And Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. If you're heading on the westbound side of 84 into downtown Hartford, look for delays now. Just after 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush, and then you'll slow again as you move from exit 37 Finneman Road down to exit 33 in Plainville. And the 72 interchange eastbound 84, look for delays about a mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. Southbound 91 slowing 36 down to 32 A and B in Hartford, again 27 down to 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Northbound side of 91, it's a little sluggish between 20 and 21 Middletown into Cromwell after that good ride into Hartford. If you're traveling 2 westbound, delays 1D up to the 84 West merge. 2 eastbound slowing off of I-84 out to exit 3. 291 eastbound's tight, I-91 to the Bissell. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Irrigoni Bridge. 84 eastbound in Waterbury. That's slow traffic approaching 17 up to 18. An accident reported there. Again, some slow traffic getting by 26 in Cheshire. Westbound 84 Waterbury's tight, 23 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you are traveling northbound on the Wilbur-Cross Parkway, look for some slow traffic up by exit 50. Southbound Parkway slowing 50 into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $125 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. NC11-1. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of this afternoon, we'll see bright sunshine as we end our Thursday with a high of 83. Tonight will be clear, we'll drop down to 57. A nice end to the work week tomorrow as well, mostly sunny with a high of 80. And a cold front moves through. No precipitation with it, but it will drop our temperature tomorrow night. Clear skies, low 49, and it will be cooler to start the weekend on Saturday. Sunny but nice, a high of 71. This is meteorologist Bill Degger in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
83 degrees at 4:30. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Plainfield man facing charges tied to the discovery of skeletal remains found last year in the town of Thompson. Under arrest is 44-year-old Vendetta Robinson. According to state police, the remains of 34-year-old Alicia Balderston were discovered last October off Lowell Davis Road in Thompson. She'd previously been reported missing from Plainfield. During the investigation, Robinson was identified as a person of interest, admitting his involvement to detectives. He's charged with illegal disposal and removal of a human body, as well as tampering with evidence, free on bond, due in court on the 25th. The owner of a restaurant in the Hartford area, now in hot water, Gina Luari, is charged with passing a bad check in purchasing nearly $11,000 in restaurant equipment from Restaurant Paradise in East Hartford. She faces felony larceny charges, among other offenses. President Trump and British Prime Minister Starmer signed a major deal on tech investment as the president offered his thoughts on other issues, expressing his approval of Jimmy Kimmel's suspension from ABC and how Russian President Putin has let him down in trying to negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine. Connecticut joining several other northeastern states in announcing the Northeast Public Health Collaborative. That'll deal with vaccine recommendations for the region as well as infectious disease management. In Windsor, police say a 35-year-old man shot off a gun in a residence on Matthew Lane Wednesday while experiencing a mental health crisis. They were ultimately able to talk him out of the home with his brother. He's been taken to a hospital for evaluation. Several schools in the area had to delay their dismissals during the police activity. Checking Wall Street this afternoon, the Dow finished up 124 points. NASDAQ gained 209. S&P was up 31. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Suicide is something that affects all of us, and we can all play a part in saving lives. Make a difference in your community by walking out of the darkness with us on Saturday, September 27th at Duncan Park in Hartford. Help spread awareness and understanding. Send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Register today at afsp.org/CT Capital Area. And then we'll see you at Duncan Park on September 27th. WTIC News Talk 1080 is a proud supporter of the American Federation for Suicide Prevention Out of the Darkness Walk.
I can't get the signal. Okay, seriously. Now there's absolutely no excuse not to listen to WTIC News Talk 1080. You can literally hear us anywhere when you listen on your smartphone. And now you can hear us on the Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and the TuneIn app. So pick your favorite and search WTIC News Talk 1080 in the app. Then listen wherever you are. It's really that easy. So no more, I can't get the signal. We've made it easy. WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
Hi, it's Morgan Cunningham, and you may be most used to hearing me during the week delivering news updates. You know the whole Morgan Cunningham WTIC 1080 News thing. But did you know that on Saturdays after 2 o'clock, I host Spotlight Connecticut? That's my talk show where I find all kinds of different people, places, things involving Connecticut and put them in 1 hour long-form interview conversation format for you to learn something new about Connecticut, newsmakers that you generally would not hear during the week on WTIC because they're not their run-of-the-mill usual newsmakers, but that doesn't mean that they can't make news. Check me out Saturday afternoons at 2 on WTIC News Talk 1080, WTIC.com, and on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Okay, everybody hold on the phones because I've got to do this thing all over again, all right, from the opening of this show, okay, because we were online and a lot of people may have missed it. But it's Reese on the Radio right here on News Talk 1080 WTIC. So Jimmy Kimmel, everybody knows he was fired. Well, not fired. He was suspended indefinitely, which can mean a bunch of things. Who knows? But I already started off with the comment that he made, which, you know what? We'll go back there. We start off with the original comment, the comment that has caused quite a stir. Now, in my view, I don't think that the comment was worth even mentioning, other than the fact that he got the facts wrong. And that is this rumor. It was more so spin than it was rumor. But the objective was to spin the idea that Tyler Robinson was a MAGA kid, that he supported Donald Trump. And that didn't make sense, but Jimmy said it was fact.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from. And in between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism.
So he's talking about finger pointing. All of that, again, flies in the face of what he said after the death of Charlie Kirk. And this was his quote. Instead of angry finger pointing, can we just for one day agree that it is horrible and monstrous to shoot another human? On the behalf of my family, we send love to the Kirks and all the children, parents, and innocents who fall victim to senseless gun violence. He would have been okay with that. But because he was trying to score political points here, no one else was. He didn't even have to. But he needs every day, incessantly, as does MSNBC, as does CNN, as does Chris Murphy. They needed to go after Donald Trump because if they weren't doing that, what would they be doing? They would be reporting for the American people, or in Jimmy Kimmel's case, he would be entertaining them. So let's get back to this point. What Jimmy Kimmel did was inaccurate, and it wasn't a joke. He wasn't tongue-in-cheek saying that he was a MAGA kid. He was stating that as fact, saying that MAGA folks did not understand what the true facts were. And Jimmy Kimmel says that unlike Aaron Rodgers, he always gets the facts.
He decided to insinuate that I am a pedophile. This is how these nuts do it now. You don't like Trump, you're a pedophile. It's their go-to move. And it shows you how much they actually care about pedophilia. And as far as the, well, you say things about people all the time argument goes, yes, I do. It's not the same. It's not even close to the same. We say a lot of things on this show. We don't make up lies. In fact, we have a team of people who work very hard to sift through facts and reputable sources before I make a joke. And
before I make a joke, he says, they always get the facts. Well, that's not true, and he knows it. And as far as the double standard goes, this isn't the first time Jimmy Kimmel has been a partisan hack, and in many ways has condoned violence.
Tesla stock is way down, almost disastrously so.
I totally forgot. We got to go to weather and traffic. I'll play the rest of this when we get back. Stand by. Here's Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
He was really funny on The Man Show with Adam Carolla.
I thought he was funny in the first couple of seasons of this show, this one. I loved the show. I was an avid watcher.
Yeah, I was. His set is right on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in a beautiful area, right next to all
his
the cool
bits
stuff
were
in Hollywood.
funny. Remember the bit where he said that I had the parents pretend that they took the kids' Halloween candy and to film them? Those were hilarious.
Yeah, and then he and Colbert just turned it into like this political show.
That all it is. It became Dick Cavett. It became Dick Cavett. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it was.
And people tuned in for Dick Cavett to do that kind of television. They didn't tune in to Jimmy or Colbert for that kind of television.
Yeah, indeed.
They're both gone. Well, Colbert's almost gone. So, hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91, look for delays. 34 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 to 28. Slowing again as you move approaching 19 to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91's running a little slow as you move up on exit 20, Country Club Road in Middletown after that. Easy ride up into Windsor. If you are traveling on the westbound side of 84, delays just after 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush, 84 eastbound slowing a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. If you're traveling 2 eastbound heavy off of I-84 out to exit 3, 2 westbound's a little slow by 4 in Glastonbury, and again 1D up to the 84 west merge in East Hartford. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 84 eastbound delays approaching 17 up to 18, and again 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 and Waterbury tight from 22 to the Mixmaster. Southbound Parkway delays approaching 50 into the West Rock. 95 southbound slowing 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
And as we head through the rest of this afternoon, we'll see more sunshine. Temperatures very close to our forecast high of 83 out there. Tonight will be clear and dry, low 57. Another day in the 80s tomorrow, mostly sunny, the high near 80. Cold front moves through tomorrow night. We'll notice a drop in temperature. Clear skies down to 49 by Saturday morning. And more sunshine for Saturday, a high of 71. We're still in the 70s with sunshine by Sunday and Monday. Right now, it's 78 in Rocky Hill, 78 in Torrington, and 82 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bill Degger in the WTIC Weather Center.
We have something to buzz about. Call the Bee. Connecticut trusted HVAC plumbing and drain professionals now offer electrical service. Call the Bee is ready to keep your home powered up. Visit callthebee.com. That's callthelletterb.com to schedule a speedy electrical service today.
Tune in to How to Retire with Fuchs Financial.
The main thing for the majority of the listeners out there who are approaching retirement is I don't want to be surprised.
Helping you build, preserve, and manage your wealth.
So you've got Roth IRAs, you have individual accounts. And finding the right taxable strategy, that's going to be huge for you.
Tune in to How to Retire with Ben Fuchs, Sundays at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. right here on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 896-4000. 203-896-4000.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this. It's Reese on the Radio. Let's just say some people are not fans. On NewsTalk 1080, WTIC.
All right, let's give it up to my wife, my better half, and my ace. That is Roseanne, who is now driving through Lafayette, Louisiana. Wow. That is called the V-chip, ladies and gentlemen. I have injected her with a V-chip so I can keep tabs on her. It's just right under the left elbow. Just put the V-chip on. No, we have this thing called Life 360. So she's driving, and she's actually in the chat room, so she's probably laughing at that right now. Before I get back to the phones, let me just finish this up. So as I said, Jimmy Kimmel, upset. More people are upset, screaming and hollering, boycott ABC. I'm canceling my Disney subscription. People are saying, all right, whatever. I mean, you do what you got to do. I mean, okay. I mean, again, I don't care. I don't care. But there is something you have to consider. You know, in Jimmy Kimmel, it's not just the fact that it's about Donald Trump. It isn't just about Donald Trump. It's about anyone who supports him. And he's made that clear. And for a guy whose job it is to entertain Americans, because his show is broadcast in areas that do support Trump. And if he's not making the company, ABC, or its affiliates money in those areas because he's alienating them and attacking them, right, that is hustling backwards. What did Jimmy Kimmel say about those who are unvaccinated?
Hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Yay! Yay! It's funny to wish the dead on others. And it wasn't like he didn't get emotional because he didn't get his way. Here's a guy who says that Donald Trump is behaving like a child because people are making fun of him. Well, I wonder how Jimmy Kimmel acted when the election was won by Donald Trump.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go.
None of which he's ever spent a dime for.
For healthcare, for our climate, for science.
Are they applauding his crying?
For journalism, for justice, for free speech. It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine.
Eat a bag of donuts. He didn't feel that way when Roseanne got fired.
The biggest story of the day today was Roseanne. Roseanne, you're not going to believe this, but she tweeted something outrageous. Anyway, ABC decided to cancel their highest-rated show, Roseanne, following a tweet in which Roseanne compared an African-American woman, a former advisor to President Obama, to an ape, which did not sit well with ABC management.
Yeah, so she made a comment about an aide for Barack Obama. Most people didn't even know who Valerie Jarrett was. Didn't even know. And how about when Tucker Carlson got fired and his free speech was pretty much shut down because a corporation decided to part ways with him?
Fox News has severed bow ties with Tucker Carlson. After all these years, they are parting ways, which means he was fired. I mean, that's really what parting ways means. Tucker couldn't be reached for comment. He's already on a plane to Moscow to meet with his manager. But what a shock. I mean, what an absolutely delightful shock this is.
Yeah, the shock was delightful. And as far as politicians talking about free speech, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez couldn't hold back her glee when Tucker Carlson was fired.
Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. What I will say, though, is while I'm very glad, but deplatforming works, and it is important. And there you go. Good things can happen.
Yeah. Before that happened, Chuck Schumer took to Capitol Hill to tell a private business owner what he should do about Tucker Carlson.
Rupert Murdoch, who has admitted they were lies and said he regretted it, has a special obligation to stop Tucker Carlson from going on tonight now that he's seen how he has perverted and slimed the truth, and from letting him go on again and again and again. Not because their views deserve such opprobrium, but because our democracy depends on it.
So they don't have a problem with the government getting involved in firing one of their employees. They don't have a problem with it at all. So that's why all of this means nothing. Zero. Nada. Nobody is weeping for Jimmy Kimmel. And at this point, it's just a suspension. So Jim Himes and Chuck Schumer and all you people screaming to the rafters, talking about an end to our democracy. You didn't give a damn about that democracy. And I'll go one step further. I'll go far step. What's this one? Is this the Biden administration who went after CBS about stories about COVID? Or how about calling CBS about stories it did about the economy? One White House official called CNN, saying that the coverage was disappointing and requesting balance at the network. They even asked for networks like Fox News to self-censor. They pushed allies to boycott Fox News, their advertisers. That's what the Biden administration did. Are we talking about the same thing? Like, really, are we talking about the same thing? I got to be honest with you. I don't want to hear these people's mouths. And the fact that all of this is about Charlie Kirk, it is, again, turnabout is fair play. It is fair play. If you are running around talking about what Charlie Kirk says, which, again, no one's been able to tell me why they are talking about it. Why are you talking about what Charlie Kirk said? What's the relevance? Other than to justify the actions by this kid. Why are we having a discussion about Charlie Kirk's words? Why is it that Turning Point USA is getting its lawyers together to start filing lawsuits against people for making false claims about Charlie Kirk? Why did Stephen King had to walk back his statements about Charlie Kirk saying that he wished to stone homosexuals. Why did Stephen King do that? Doesn't Stephen King have all the money in the world? Isn't Stephen King, doesn't he have, FU money? Can't he just behave any way he wants to? But even he came back and apologized. But yet all the rest of these average bozos are still trying to repeat it. No offense. I got to be honest. I'm going to tell you from the bottom of my heart. If I was Turning Point USA, I would ask every lawyer I knew, just friends, to go after every single person, everybody. And I would tell every one of them, lawyer up. I just send them a letter. I would spend the money to send them a letter and say, I need you to publicly apologize. That's what I would do. Because I'm that kind of piece up. I'm that guy. That's what I would do. But they're allowed to. It is their free speech. But they all of those things have consequences. Because if you're going to say that about Charlie Kirk, if it's really about what he said, because that's all you got. Charlie Kirk said this. Charlie Kirk said that. What he said was absolutely racist. What he thought of black women was absolutely racist. You got pastors and ministers up on high, on the pew. I can uphold the fact that you were shot down, but I will not forgive you for the things that you said. What are you trying to say then? No one's asking you to do any of that. No one's even asking you to opine about his death. If you didn't know him, if you didn't care about him, you don't have to say a word. This isn't one of those things where I have to inject myself. I heard that Charlie Kirk said this, that, and that. Now I must make a statement. This is called, real. It's like gratuitous grandstanding. No one gives a damn about your opinion. Who are you? He's just some minister in some podunk town, and you're filming yourself talking about Charlie Kirk, using his death as a means to make yourself relevant? If you want to talk about exploiting somebody's death, how many hours you got? How many people are on social media right now who are dancing on his grave so they can draw attention to themselves? You got a problem with Donald Trump, quote unquote, using Charlie Kirk's murder? What is everybody else doing? Who isn't exploiting his murder, if that's the case? If you were listening, I had to go. I'm still miffed about it. About Glenn Beck talking about calling Charlie Kirk a civil rights leader. How dare you? That's not what Charlie Kirk was about. He understood that whole movement. You're going to sully his name with that. If you don't think that people, and I'll tell you, I'm not. You want to talk about using? You want to talk about using? I was mad when I found this out. I'm still mad about it. Because I call myself probably the biggest Rush Limbaugh fan in the world. And I know, I'm sure that there are bigger people in the world. I'm probably nowhere near Snerdley. But I consider myself, like, when I tell you that is, I call him Uncle Rush for a reason. I call myself the illegitimate love child of Rush Limbaugh because of the way that I feel about him. But when I found out that Glenn Beck had his golden EIB microphone, I was so angry. Not because I wanted the mic. I didn't think I deserved it. Okay, maybe kind of. But I knew I would never get it. But when you placed it in front of Charlie Kirk's chair, I'm sorry, that didn't sit well with me. It just didn't. I would call on everybody, seriously, Just stop on all levels. Stop using his death. If there are people who are responsible outside of Tyler Robinson and they need to be held to account, hold them to account. But a lot of people are using Charlie Kirk's death for their own purposes. And Jimmy Kimmel did it here. And now people are using Jimmy Kimmel and Charlie Kirk as a means to go after the President of the United States. So everybody, if you ask me, there's a lot of scummy behavior going on. And I don't know what ABC is doing, nor do I care. I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel anymore, and they can do whatever they want with their business. Again, I'm not injecting myself into it, but I'm only here to lay out the facts. These people are hypocrites. Getting rid of Tucker Carlson at Fox News was a big story. And remember how many people said they were leaving Fox News because of it? And they believed that he was being scapegoated and he was being punished by Rupert Murdoch and everybody else who was calling for his firing. But there wasn't anybody screaming and hollering in the lights. I mean, this guy, we're talking about Tucker Carlson versus Jimmy Kimmel as far as relevance goes. To suggest that Jimmy Kimmel in some way is like Lenny Bruce is a reach. What a stretch. Jimmy's going to be all right. What did he get, $15 million a year? He already has citizenship in Italy. He'll be fine. With that kind of paycheck in Italy, what's the cost of living there? He could buy probably one of the biggest villas there. John Beckman says, I'm in bed by 9:30. I almost got you beat, buddy.
Damn.
9:30, damn it. I hope that I at least stay a little bit longer when I get your age, John. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. We'll get your phone calls. And, of course, we've got our Greg Gutfeld tickets coming up. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, 91 southbound, look for delays, Hartford 34.
9:30. I'm just eating my snack for the night.
Slow traffic as you move 27.
Ain't even start watching shows yet.
Another bump as you move down by exit 22, the Route 9 interchange in Cromwell, and more slow traffic 19 to 17 in Meriden. Northbound side of 91, it's a little slow 21 to 22 in Cromwell, again 24 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield, and another slowdown up in Windsor 35 to 36. Westbound 84 tied up, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 44 Prospect Oakwood. 84 eastbound slowing a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 eastbound slowing I-91 over to the Bissell. 2 westbounds tied up 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 2 eastbound, some slow traffic by exit 3 in East Hartford. And if you're traveling into Middletown, both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 691 eastbound, some slow traffic as you move between 7 and 5. If you are traveling 84 eastbound into Waterbury, delays 17 to the Mixmaster. Again, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 in Waterbury tight. 22 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of this afternoon, we'll see bright sunshine as we end our Thursday with a high of 83. Tonight will be clear, we'll drop down to 57. A nice end to the work week tomorrow as well, mostly sunny with a high of 80. And a cold front moves through. No precipitation with it, but it will drop our temperature tomorrow night. Clear skies, low 49, and it will be cooler to start the weekend on Saturday. Sunny but nice, a high of 71. This is meteorologist Bill Degger in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 83 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Republican lawmakers want to know more about the state's potential investment into the WNBA's Connecticut Sun. They say they're being left in the dark as Democrats consider using state pension funds to buy a minority stake in the team. This is State Senate Minority Leader Steve Harding.
Today to call on both the treasurer and this administration to bring some common sense and transparency to our hard-earned money, whether it be through the state employees' pension, or whether it be through the taxpayers.
Now, the Republicans say they're not opposed to keeping the team in Connecticut, but they are concerned about how it's done. They want Democrats to consider their proposal to establish a board overseeing the pension fund. Connecticut high schoolers are able to receive automatic admission to several public and private colleges through a program designed to make it easier for them to seek higher education. The Connecticut Automatic Admission Program is open to graduating seniors. Those who qualify will only have to fill out one application for admittance to 10 participating higher ed institutions. They can also take early college classes. CSCU Interim Chancellor John Maduco.
At CSCU, we serve about 10,500 early college students. And through the passage of this law, we know that we're going to expand that number to give high school students, direct access to college and university programs.
Among the participating colleges, Southern, Central, Eastern, and Western Connecticut State Universities, Albertus Magnus and New Haven, Goodwin and Mitchell Colleges, and the universities of Bridgeport, Hartford, and New Haven. Owner of a popular Hartford area restaurant now facing charges after East Hartford police say she passed a bad check while purchasing restaurant equipment in town. Under arrest is 33-year-old Gina Luari. She owns the Place to Be with a couple of locations, one in Hartford, one in West Hartford. The complaint was initially filed in July. She's accused of paying for nearly $11,000 in equipment from Restaurant Paradise by using a check that had been returned due to insufficient funds. The account was also closed out as well, say police. She's charged with issuing that bad check as well as larceny. President Trump wrapped up his state visit to Britain with a joint press conference with his counterpart in Britain, Keir Starmer, on Starmer's decision to recognize a Palestinian state.
I have a disagreement with the Prime Minister on that score. Okay? One of our few disagreements, actually.
And on Ukraine, Trump said Putin let him down on that subject. Starmer pointing out the Russian attacks on Kyiv and drones over Poland.
If you put that together, what you can see is either an emboldenment or at least an increased recklessness on Putin's part. And that's why I said earlier that they're not the actions of someone who wants peace.
Fallout continues from ABC's Axing Jimmy Kimmel Live, at least for the time being. Now David Letterman's weighing in.
David Letterman, during a sit-down with Jeffrey Goldberg at the Atlantic Festival, didn't hold back when the topic of the Jimmy Kimmel Live show being preempted indefinitely by Disney's ABC came up.
It's silly, it's ridiculous, and you can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful or trying to suck up to an authoritarian criminal administration in the Oval Office. That's just not how this works.
Letterman calls it managed media. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Wall Street, the Dow up 124 points, NASDAQ up 209, S&P gained 31 today. Game we had here on the radio, the A's beat the Red Sox 5-3. Yanks begin a 4-game set in Baltimore tonight against the Orioles, and the Mets took a 6-1 verdict against San Diego. Tonight's Thursday night football extravaganza features the Dolphins in Buffalo. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, how'd you get your water heater fixed so fast?
Aiello Home Services, same-day plumbing. I gave them a call, and they had a plumber on their way. They even sent the plumber's real-time location, so I knew when they would be here.
Did you say same day? That's crazy.
If you need same-day plumbing, call, click, or text today and say, hello, Aiello. Call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926. P10277688. S10413487. D10401465. S3308699. SM3004646. E1185643.
Life unfolds in ways you never quite expect. Starting a new business, getting remarried, being hurt on the job, or through personal injury. Each time, you're left searching for someone new to trust. But what if you had a full-service law firm that knows you and a firm that can represent all of your legal needs? With BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Visit BP. VPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Proud full-service law partner of Yukon Athletics. Nick Payne-Dearis is responsible for the content of this ad.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let's do it. It's Hollywood News with your correspondent, Reese on the Radio. All the glitz, all the glamour. It's Hollywood News. Anyway, so there are two reports that I need to get into in Hollywood. One in particular, of course, based upon our topic. Jimmy Kimmel, a new report has just come out that says that last night, late night host, Jimmy Kimmel has said that he is unwilling to apologize for his remarks that blamed MAGA supporters for the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. And he said that he was going to double down on attacking President Trump's backers before he was yanked from the air, according to new reports. So it looks like he was, I think ABC has just said, okay, fine. Stick by your word, as he should. Stick by your word. In other Hollywood pariah news, I thought this was interesting. Will Smith is at Paramount. It says this marks Will Smith's return to major studio, movie making, with his first project coming out soon with Paramount CEO David Ellison. And they emphasize that Will Smith has a global draw with broad appeal to fans. So it looks like that sort of banishment of Will Smith since the smack heard round the world. It looks like Will Smith's going to come back. Apparently the first film he's working on is supposed to be some sort of like action hero kind of stuff. But he's in his 50s. He's my age. I guess he could kind of pull it off. He's still kind of svelte looking. But yeah, it looks like Will Smith is going to try a comeback into regular feature films. I don't know. Do you think, Roland, that he's like, is he post the slap? Do you think people have like forgiven him? And
A long time ago.
You don't think that's going to affect his box office anymore?
No.
Huh?
Never.
That's interesting. Okay, I don't know. I just kind of feel like
No, it's not going to happen. It's going to be business as usual.
I'm not going to lie. That Bad Boys movie, that last one, did well. That was post-slap.
There you go.
Did like $158 million.
Point proven.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. And I know, Mark, I'm going down the wrong tree here, but at least Will Smith films. Can you name? You've probably seen at least 3 of them, right? Independence.
Men in Black?
Men in Black, okay. Independence Day?
No.
God.
Sorry.
Okay, Men in Black. Can you name 2 more?
No.
Oh, goodness. Just when I think that I got you, Like, just when I think.
No. I am horrible with movies.
Okay, but no. Men in Black at least counts. At least you've seen a movie in the last century.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Sorry,
I
man.
can't sit still long enough, and I'd probably fall asleep halfway through it.
I hear you, buddy.
What's the point? Although,
yeah,
I did watch the Billy Joel documentary for 5 hours straight, and I got done with it about 1:30 in the morning.
Goodness gracious, was it that long?
I stayed awake for that, so that's a small miracle right there.
Huh.
Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 30.
It's not like he smacked a baby or a lady. He smacked another grown man. It's like, come on, man.
Cromwell.
Get over it.
We used to have a
21
joke.
again up by 22, the Route 9 interchange.
We used to have a joke back in the day where we said that Barack Obama was untouchable, that if Barack Obama slapped a baby, the press would say, was the baby Republican?
About a mile before 46.
Wow.
Okay, 2 eastbound slowing off of I-84 out to
Yeah, I think he could have got away with slapping a baby, honestly.
In the height of his political career? Absolutely.
Eastbound, that's slowing.
They'd have been like, what did that baby do?
Northbound tight, approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing by 18. Again, some sluggish traffic. 26 down to the 691 interchange in Cheshire. Westbound 84 is tied up. 22 to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you're southbound on the Parkway, delays approaching 50 into the West Rock Tunnel, 95 South New Haven, tight 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples.
Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $125 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. NC11-1. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
WTIC weather.
And as we head through the rest of the afternoon into the evening, mostly sunny skies. We're at our high for the day of 83. Tonight, we're down to 58 under clear skies. Tomorrow, then sunshine, 80 to end the work week. Cold front moves through before tomorrow night. That'll drop our temperature by Saturday morning. Clear skies, low 48. Then the weekend, just picture perfect. Saturday, sunshine, 71. Again in the 40s Saturday night, low 70s on Sunday and Monday as well. Right now, 78 at Colchester, 83 at Plainville, and 83 at Hartford. This is meteorologist Bill Deger in the WTIC Weather Center.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote renter's insurance at progressive.com.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth, certified financial planner from Money Wisdom. Tune in every week for insights on taxes, investments, income planning, Social Security, and so much more. Tune in to Money Wisdom Saturdays at 8:30 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick Hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick Seminar's early bird special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right. Seminars Thursday, September 18th, Hilton Garden in Hartford North, Bradley International Airport in Windsor. Weight loss seminar 5:30. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, September 20th, Holiday Inn Express, Southington. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register markpatrickseminars.com.
1 minute.
That's the sound of your business losing
Got it.
money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're almost out of here. I have to read this. I never thought that this would happen to a guy like me. And I must say that the person who wrote it, good on you. It is brilliant. It's Zach. Zach is one of our listeners who's always in the chat room. And he wrote this, and I thought that it was brilliant, so I needed to read it. I've never had fan fiction. And do you know anything about that, Roland? Do you know what fan fiction is? It's when somebody takes actual people and then makes fictional stories about them.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah. So they do it like, whether it's like, they could do fan fiction on Star Trek, Star Wars, or actual people that they make like sort of made up stories about the characters in that. And they made up. So fan fiction was made about me. I never thought that this would happen, but I love it. And I'd like to read an excerpt from some fan fiction about me. In the sizzling world of talk radio, Reese, a charismatic black conservative host, dominates the airwaves with his bold opinions and undeniable charm. But when Tim, a sharp-tongued, enigmatic caller from Hamden, sparks a heated on-air feud, the tension between them ignites into something far more dangerous and irresistible. Behind closed doors, their fiery clashes turn into stolen kisses and whispered promises, each encounter blurring the line between love and rivalry. As secrets unravel, their passions flare. I'm sorry, but this is absolutely epic, and I got to give it to Zach for writing it. Now, I will admit that it is gay fan fiction, but I don't care. You get what you can. It's like somebody writes something about you, in fan fiction. It's like, what do you call it? What's the term that David Lee Roth used to say? It's a cold sore on a supermodel. That's the way I look at it. Let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. In fact, if you call in now, you can win a pair of tickets to go see Greg Gutfeld live 25 at the Premier Theater at Foxwoods Resort on September 21st at 6 p.m. Let's go to Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hi there. So I was deciding earlier this afternoon what I might want to call about because there's something that was kind of bugging me.
Okay.
And then I heard Dr. Steve's call, and he kind of confirmed for me that I was probably going to make the right call. And then I just looked on X and I saw Elon Musk was commenting on someone else's tweet, as I'll call it. So again, right in that same lane. And what I'm going to say here is that when Dr. Steve said that he just wishes Donald Trump said, let's all come together and all the other stuff that these people want. What I was going to call about is that right now, and let's wait until we put Mr. Kirk in the ground, but the problem that we have in this country is so apparent right now, and that is that people are entitled to their own opinions. They're not entitled to make up facts.
Correct.
And I don't know why we don't start calling out CNN and MSNBC because they could rebuild viewership if they do this. The problem is they wouldn't be able to do what I'm going to say successfully, and that is put on a 90-minute to 2-hour show talking about the things that people are bothered by that Charlie Kirk has said with the one rule, and this has to be an absolute strict rule. You do not discuss anything unless you can show him actually saying it, and you cannot cut the clip to make it seem that way.
That is absolutely.
Because right now, the problem we have in this country, Reese, is that we're letting people get away with saying he's a racist. He wants, like you were talking with Tim, he wants to stone gays.
Right.
Enough of this garbage. If we're going to learn one thing, from now on, the game needs to be, if you're right, show us you're right, and then put it on us, because then we need to act like normal human beings. But until you show it to us, you're garbage.
Yeah,
You
I
really are
agree.
garbage.
You're 100% right in this, and I'll give you exactly what this is. The purpose, and I learned this from Rush, and again, I'm not ashamed of it at all. The thing that is important in this medium, or at least for me, is that when I convey my point of view, or even the story as it were, audio sound bites of the people who said it is paramount. So when I'm on here talking about liberalism or liberals, be it from Jasmine Crockett to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem, no matter what it is, I provide the clip in its entirety. Sometimes the clip is as long as 1 minute and 45 seconds, which again is a lot of time to dedicate to someone speaking. But that is so that no one goes which way or even suggests that I altered their own words, that's the importance of it. And what you're saying, Joe, if I'm right here, is that you're just asking those networks to do exactly what we do here.
Exactly, and their viewership is so low that if they could, and I absolutely am not a Charlie Kirk expert.
Right.
I have not seen everything that man has said since he started Turning Point USA. He may have said some things that he wishes he took back. I don't know, but the fact is, I am still yet to see one single example, and I'm getting sick and tired of the people on the left who keep bringing this up. And you have a CNN and MSNBC whose businesses are in the toilet. So if they could put that stuff together and explain to America using actual facts why people are upset, guess what? They rebuild their viewership in one evening.
Indeed. You're absolutely right.
And without doing that, that's why I'm sick and tired of people giving these people a pass. And back to Dr. Steve, I know what he's saying about, can we all come together? No, we can't come together until we're all talking about the same facts.
How about this one? You know what?
Facts, yes.
Wait, Joe, there's something even more important about this. And I think what it is, and I think that Dr. Steve is missing one very important point about what he's asking for. And I should have said it now that I think about it. And Steve's a nice guy, because I would normally say that to Tim or Don or anybody else, but I should have said it to him. And it's 100% accurate to say so. In this particular case, it's got to be you first. As far as MSNBC and CNN goes, when they start talking about Donald Trump needs to turn down the temperature, it's got to be you first, because we're not here because of us. And Greg said it last night. Greg Gutfeld said it last night on the 5. He said, if it was our fault, they would tell us. The one way we know it's their fault is because they call it a both sides issue.
And let's say hypothetically, and I know they're not going to do this, that they did put on a 90-minute to 2-hour program, and they loaded it up with actual videos of things that Charlie Kirk may have regretted saying. Do you not think that would lower the temperature?
Absolutely.
I think it would. Because
Absolutely.
people on my side would be saying, I didn't know that. Wow. Thanks for educating me. I'm not going to be so quick to call these people morons.
Right.
Exactly. In the absence of that, they're morons.
But they wouldn't, exactly, because they're not even putting an effort in, which, again, that goes back to my biggest claim that I've said about them. And this was obvious during the campaign. When Donald Trump was on stage, every other network would cover him speaking, and the places that didn't want you to have access to his speech would step away and then tell us that we will report if he says something significant. And in doing that, what did they do? We got the bloodbath nonsense. We got the firing squad nonsense. Because why? They didn't allow their audience to get the full clip. But when they found something that was worth smearing him for, that is what they'd air. And that's the way. And again, when people say turn down the temperature, that's why I say you first, because we know these people have done everything in their power to smear what he said. And of course, the biggest smear of all, good people on both sides. So they owe us. They owe us. We don't owe them a thing.
They owe America.
Indeed. Well, that's what I meant when I said us. I meant writ large, everybody. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Joe. You got it, man. Let's go to Tony. Tony's in Rocky Hill. How are you, sir?
All right. That previous caller, I agree totally with him. You know, I hear him a lot in these talk shows. I'm surprised he's doesn't have his own program on TIC Radio. He can replace a few right now that we have.
You mean like me, Tony?
Well, whatever. You make your own decisions, but he's good. He's very calm, and he's very detailed and very informative.
Tony, why do you call up here?
What I'm calling about, though, is this. I don't listen to the late-night shows, Kimball, and so forth, but what he did was not wrong, what I've been hearing and so forth.
Yeah, if you were listening to me, I said that.
No, I'm not saying you did.
Oh, okay.
Don't get defensive.
I wasn't.
But now, the fact of the matter is, the freedom of speech rule has to exist no matter what takes place in this country.
Do you think that's what happened to him?
I think it was more of ABC. They've got a major acquisition pending right now that they rely on the federal government for their approval for the acquisition to take place. And I don't think they want to rattle the Donald Trump gauge.
Do you think that Jimmy Kimmel is a reckless late-night host?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. How about partisan? Do you think he's a partisan host?
I can sort out what he says and agree or disagree.
Okay. Do you think he's partisan, though?
You're partisan, too.
Yeah, no, I make that evident. But my question is he partisan?
I don't think he is.
Okay, you don't think he's partisan. Do you think
No,
that
I
he
don't
has a
think it is.
duty?
Look at he's got to address his audience.
Right.
And once he turns off his audience, he's going to change his tune.
Right.
Let him
Well-
make that decision.
well, he has.
Not us.
But I know, I understand it. But he has. And ABC, I mean, if you think about it, 10 years ago,
ABC is making a major
Tony, I was
acquisition
talking,
right now.
sir. I was talking.
Are you aware of that?
10 years ago. 10 years
Are
ago.
you aware of that?
When I'm done, I will be happy to answer your question. 10 years ago.
No, are you aware of that?
Am I aware of what?
ABC is right now looking to make a major acquisition.
Yes, I've already mentioned it. If you were listening to the show, I started the show that way.
I don't listen that much, but I'm just
Okay,
saying
well, yes,
right
of
now,
course. Of course, I'm well informed. What happens is that 10 years ago, Jimmy Kimmel was pulling in over $400 million in ad dollars. Today, he pulls in just over $200 million. Would you consider him?
Whatever.
Hold on. Would you consider him profitable for the ABC brand?
To some degree, yes, because late night talk shows aren't what they used to be.
Right. So losing money, you're telling me, is successful?
Well, something's better than nothing.
No, that's not what I asked you, sir. Is
What are they
losing
gonna
money
replace them with?
profitable?
What are they going to replace them with? Cartoons?
I was just asking you a simple question. If you're not answering it, is obviously clearing up the minutia here. Losing money is profitable. You've owned a business before, Tony, right? You sound like the type.
What are they going to replace? What are they going to replace? them
Tony, I don't care. Wouldn't you replace a bad employee at your business?
with? Come on.
Wouldn't you?
Come on.
If a business, wait. How about this one? How about let's go one step further.
I think what all this is about.
Tony,
is
let me
keeping
ask you
it-
the question. You own a McDonald's franchise, and the person
let me
working the
answer
front.
it for you.
I haven't asked it yet. You own a
I know
McDonald's.
what your question is going to be.
You own a McDonald's franchise. Since I got to put you on freaking hold. You own a McDonald's franchise, and the person working your front counter keeps talking about how beef and meat is bad for you, and keeps causing people to walk out because they feel harassed or guilty. Would you consider that individual profitable to your business, Tony?
Well, let me ask you: would you eat my French fries?
Goodbye. I say I don't even understand the interest in being a bozo. You just try. It's my fault. It's nobody's fault but mine. It's my fault. It is my fault. It's not Tony's fault. Tony is Tony. I'm the person here screwing it up, giving him a chance. How dare I? Let's get a check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is the BPS traffic center. No wonder I've been married 4 times, Mark. I'm a glutton.
You like the abuse,
Yes,
brother.
I do.
Put on your shield every day and come in here 2 to 6.
There you go, buddy.
Southbound 91 coming into Hartford, delays from exit 37 down to exit 36. Looks like somebody was walking on the right side of the Highway 91 South, so I see some activity there. You're slowing again as you move into Hartford from exit 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 down to 28. More slow traffic down by 23 West Street and Rocky Hill. Slowing again as you move between 20 and 19 Middletown into Meriden. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell up into Hartford a little slow. 35 up to 37 in Windsor. If you're westbound 84, you're tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to call it out to exit 44 Prospect Oakwood. Delays again as you move from 37 Finneman Road out to exit 33 in Plainville. Looks like the left center lane and the center lane blocked with a crash out there. Also affecting 72 westbound approaching 2 up to the 84 West merge in Plainville. 84 eastbound slowing 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 2 eastbound slowing off of I-84 out to exit 3. 2 westbounds tied up 1D up to the 84 West merge. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge. Heading toward Waterbury. 84 eastbound slowing by 18. And again 26 to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 tied up 22 to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Traffic brought to you by the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association. Before our children get to school, they're on the roads, on sidewalks, in crosswalks, riding bikes, and waiting for buses. So put away the distractions and slow down. School's in. Drive smart. A message from the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association and Connecticut DOT.
WTIC weather.
The rest of this afternoon shaping up to be a sunny, nice, and warm one out there as temperatures top out at 83. Will be clear tonight, dropping down to 57 overnight. Your day tomorrow, sunshine as we end the work week with a high of 80. A cold front will move through late in the day. No rain with it, but it will drop our temperature. Clear tomorrow night, low 49, and sunny and nice on Saturday with a high of 71. This is meteorologist Bill Degger in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Republican state lawmakers say they're being left in the dark regarding proposals to keep the WNBA's Connecticut Sun from fleeing the state. Democrats are considering using state pension funds to purchase a minority stake in the team. GOP leaders expressed those concerns at a news conference earlier today in Hartford. More information released on a police incident in the town of Windsor Wednesday. That led to a delay in school dismissals. They say it was a man experiencing a mental health episode in a residence on Matthew Lane. A gunshot was heard from within, but there were no injuries. That person and his brother were ultimately coaxed out of the home without injury. President Trump signed what he's calling a historic agreement on science and technology with Britain during a news conference with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The two men held a roundtable with business leaders as they signed that deal today. Jimmy Kimmel's television future's up in the air after ABC suspended his late night show following the host's comments about the Charlie Kirk assassination. Comments prompting dozens of stations to say they wouldn't air the show, a move that was cheered by the FCC chairman. Attorney General William Tong filing for a preliminary injunction to immediately halt the administration's stop work order on Revolution Wind. The administration cited national security concerns that the Lamont administration says were addressed years ago. Markets finished in positive territory today. The Dow picked up 124 points, the Nasdaq gained 209, and the S&P was up 31. Red Sox wild card ambitions took a bit of a hit this afternoon at Fenway as the A's beat them 5-3. Yanks will try to put more distance between Boston when they open a series in Baltimore tonight against the Orioles. And the Mets, trying to hang on to that third wild card in the National League, beat the Padres this afternoon at Citi Field 6-1. The Thursday night football contest features the Dolphins in Buffalo to play the Bills. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Actual price will depend on product and featured products or compounded drug products, which
Yes,
the
sir.
FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, we are back. It's Reese on the Radio. And did we get, I didn't even bother to check. I'm sure you sent it to me. Did you send me the winner already, Roland? You did. My bad. Oh, I want to say congratulations goes to Joe and Lisa from Watertown. I can pretty much assume that both of you will be taking a pair of tickets to go see Gutfeld Live 25, featuring Greg Gutfeld of the Fox News Channel and Tom Shalhoub, who's also, by the way, of the Fox News Channel, on September 21st at 6 p.m. at the Premier Theater at Foxwoods. And go to foxwoods.com if you wish to purchase tickets yourself. All right? And we have given them away, last pair of tickets tomorrow. Can't wait to do that. Also, I want to give a shout out, if I could, to Columbia Dental. They actually, I visited with them when I went to go, when I was in town. And they are a proud sponsor of Reese on the Radio and, of course, the WTIC family. So I want to thank them. They're great people. There was one of the women there was the chief of staff who was talking to my wife, to which, you know, your wife does something that completely blows your mind. And I think it's probably because we've only been together for 4 years. But my wife did something that blew my mind, like in a heartbeat, is that she immediately starts speaking Persian. And, or at least, I guess, is it Farsi? Yes, I think Farsi. My wife just started speaking Farsi, like out of nowhere. I never knew that. And the woman was absolutely amazed by it. So was I, because I was like, what? Why is she speaking another language to this woman? And, you know, it was the only time that ever happened. This sounds like a horrible story, but I promise you, it's not as horrible as it seems. I was at a funeral. And it was a funeral for a good friend of mine who worked with me at U-Haul, Louis, who had passed away. And we went to the funeral, and I saw all of these people there that I knew who worked with him and his family. And we get there, and what I didn't know about him, I thought Louis was Hispanic. And because his name was Louis, and he looked like a very brown-skinned Hispanic man. What I didn't know is that he was Ethiopian. What I also didn't know is that his faith was Ethiopian. So when we got there, the minister who, you know, at his funeral was speaking Ethiopian. And I could not understand a word he was saying as he was speaking. And I looked at my friend, I leaned over to him, and I went, I think I'm having a stroke. And he went, what? I was like, what language is he speaking? That's not English. And he goes, yeah, Louis is Ethiopian. I went, no, he's not. It was really, really weird. So my wife did that. I was like, what? Am I having a stroke? What's going on? Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is in the BPS traffic center. Do you ever hear a language that you never heard of, Mark, and like lose it? Like, what language is that? Or do you think you heard them all?
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, I haven't heard them all. That's for sure.
You ever had one that just sneaks up on you and just go, wow, what is that language?
I do. I recognize. I recognize French speaking people.
Easy, very.
That's the easy one.
Yeah, there's a lot of pretension in there.
Yes, exactly. It's like they're talking and their nose is curled up at you.
Indeed.
You know. But they do take that break during the middle of the day and they eat really rich food. So they're doing something right over there.
Yeah, I hear
know that for sure. And they don't have a lot of heart disease either. So there's some sort of
something's
combination
right
there. Yeah, there's something. They're doing something right. Hey, Reese, thank you very much. This traffic report is being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. If you're on the westbound side of 84, look for delays in Hartford, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. And again, you're going to see slow traffic, 37 Finman Road up to exit 33 in Plainville. We have an accident that's been moved over to the right shoulder there. 84 eastbound, slow traffic about a mile before 46 Avenue into the tunnel. 91 southbound delays in Windsor from exit 37 down to exit 35. Again, 33 down to 32 A and B. More slow traffic in Hartford, 27 down to exit 28. If you're northbound 91, overall, that looks pretty good. You're going to see some delays, though, up in Windsor from 35 up to exit 37 on the northbound side of 91. 291, 384 looking good. 2 westbound slowing. 1D up to the 84 west merge in East Hartford. If you're heading into Middletown, overall, that looks good. 691 eastbound, some slow traffic, 7 to 5. Or I should say 5 to 7 as you move from Meriden into Cheshire. And eastbound 84 slowing in Waterbury. Westbound 84 Waterbury's tight 23 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Traffic got you down? Turn that frown upside down at Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. They offer fast, efficient dental implant procedures completed in a single visit, open 7 days a week. For your convenience, don't wait. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
And that forecast for the rest of the afternoon and this evening is a sunny one. As we're on our way home, we'll see a high of 83. That's what we got up to in Hartford tonight. Clear skies, low 57. Another day in the 80s tomorrow as we end the work week, a high of 80 with sunshine. A cold front then moves through by early tomorrow night. In its wake, the temperature will drop. Clear skies, low 49 for our Friday night. Saturday, sunny and nice. Temperatures about 10 degrees cooler, high 71. We'll stay in the 70s and dry early through next week. Right now, 82 at Wallingford, 76 at Hopewell, 83 at Hartford. This is meteorologist Bill Degger in the WTIC Weather Center.
Looking to retire with confidence? Get the answers you need. Tune in to Wall
Hey,
Street
does my
Sweeper
sound
with
go up
Russ
when I do
Hockman.
this?
Sunday mornings at
Roland?
9:30 on NewsTalk.
Like if I do that, does my sound go up on your end?
Strategies, insights, and
I won't be able to tell till.
Oh, till you go on the
your
air?
go-to for retirement planning and tax.
But I could tell sometimes when you actually get louder,
Or catch
then I know that you're going up higher.
Okay.
Retirement planning with integrity on WTIC.
Because Joey just said that
News
there's
Talk
something,
1080.
and I think it has everything to do with the master volume. But I have it in the same place it's always been. I never touch it.
Nothing worked before. Left there.
Have you pushed that up?
Again.
I pushed it up just now.
Easy, affordable.
Yeah, you probably got to push that up.
Okay.
What is it on, the master volume?
She lost 18 pounds.
5?
And I lost 4.
And what does it go to?
It's
10?
true. Smoke 2 packs.
Yeah, you probably want to push that up to like 8.
Hypnosis.
Well,
Now we're losing
yeah,
weight together,
I'm
eating
really
healthy,
worried
full on
about
half the
bleeding.
food, crazy,
Um,
enjoying
see
exercising.
if
Who would have
this will
believed
go.
Mark Patrick hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
Let's start with 6.5 and see what happens.
All right, no
Early bird
problem.
special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right. Seminars Thursday, September 18th, Hilton Garden in Hartford North, Bradley International Airport in Windsor. Weight loss seminar 5:30. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, September 20th, Holiday Inn Express Southington. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register markpatrickseminars.com.
Do you have 10
1 minute.
or more
Got
in
it.
credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676, 800-201-7676.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to
10.
Coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah, my wife says the volume goes to 11. Speaking of that, I still haven't seen the new, what's it?
Yeah, push it up to 8.
Yeah, I got to push it up. Okay, so is that better? How's that? Is that even louder?
Not really.
No, it's not helping. This is exactly what I thought it was. And now I'm doing like this. Which
Now
that's
helps.
much better. That's much better. I thought you would say that. Of course, that's better. I think it is much. Anyway, we're back. Reese on the Radio. Again, as I was just saying, I have not seen Spinal Tap Part 2 yet. What did I do? Did I just screw it up again?
Just to take away the little bit of distortion that it has, turn it down a smidget.
Okay, so I will do that, and maybe that will work. Yeah, unfortunately, and this is
There you go.
This is the reason why I can't wait to get to Connecticut, because that's one of the things that bothers me the most about all this. So, okay, we found out that Donald Trump, who had been hinting it for a couple of days, has finally distinguished Antifa as a terrorist organization. And this is quite the development. Aside from the fact that we're not really hearing a lot of buzz about this, and I don't think that you are really going to until the organizations that fund it actually start making some noise. So if you haven't heard any, and it's a big development that you would have an organization in the United States that you have seen everywhere. And that, before, before they were mainstreamed, and when I mean mainstreamed, actually covered on network news, you only found them online and attacks of them online. You might remember famously in 2020 when Joe Biden called Antifa an idea, that it wasn't real. And now everybody knows that they're real. It was a ridiculous lie, but now everybody knows that it's real and it's true. But there hasn't been any pushback. Now, here is we have what's called and you also might remember when guys like Don Lemon was saying that, they're not, a domestic terrorist organization. They're anti-fascist, which is in the name, Antifa. But a lot of people were making excuses for the organization. So now it's been distinguished as a terror cell, a terror organization. And you haven't heard anything. Why? Well, that's obvious. Because then when you report on it, as far as MSNBC, CNN, or just regular networks, they are going to have to do what is pretty much what's come accustomed to them. And that is defend Antifa in some way because of who controls them, who pays for Antifa's efforts. And that will expose a lot of other people. Now, as much as you've heard the Trump administration is fascist, neo-fascist and corrupt and authoritarian, going after the group that calls itself the sworn enemy of fascism, which of course is the Trump administration, it is odd that the news media isn't up in arms about protecting them, which should be the tell. Like, that's the giveaway. But they aren't. We'll get into more of this tomorrow as well. Plus, I'm going to talk about this pension plan of Lamont with the Connecticut Sun. A lot of people are upset about this, but of course it's being reported as a partisan issue. Republicans have an issue with it. I'm actually going to break this down in a way that not just Republicans will have an issue with it. Taxpayers overall should have an issue with the idea. And it's nothing against the Connecticut Sun, but it's not a great investment, especially when you're dealing with people's pensions. We'll get into that tomorrow, so stand by for that. Let's go to Rob in Meriden. Hello, Rob.
Yes, hello, Reese. Let me get you a speaker. Yeah, I appreciate you picking up the call. I don't know if this is out of bounds. I'm talking about the subject about the adults shielded from the people from the Kirk thing, and now the adults who may be Kimmel or whatever talk show hosts, are they, I've heard Trump, I voted for Trump, but are the adults who give their own opinion on these talk show formats or whatever you want to call them, comedy shows, it seems like they are tightening the rein on them. And I know they did the same thing with the COVID. You couldn't say nothing about COVID. Joe Rogan would be, back in the day, and shamed or whatever term.
Are you trying to? I'm trying to understand what you're articulating. Are you saying that people who are giving commentary about Charlie Kirk have to sort of curb what?
Are they going off the hook with what happened with what's his name? Kimmel? I think his name is.
No, I think what's happening with Jimmy Kimmel, I think, is an overreaction to the place where we are right now. Let me give you a perfect example. there are so many people who are trying to distance themselves from people who have taken advantage of
But I think
this.
he's wrong.
No. But when I say taking advantage of it, in essence, they've drawn attention to themselves for their own clicks and notoriety by mocking the murder, right? So anything,
No doubt.
yeah,
No doubt.
every part of that is now very touchy. So when Kimmel said something and the ABC folks are going, and by the way, they had been talking about this for a
I don't
while.
like Kimmel, just so you know, I never liked
No, I
Kimmel.
know. But they have been talking about this for a while, the ABC brass. In fact, Rolling Stone has an article about it as
So
well.
they're losing money. I understand.
Yes,
all that.
exactly. So this was really one of those things where it was the perfect storm to hurt Jimmy, where it's like, we're losing money with this guy, and
Yeah,
he's becoming more and more partisan.
Colbert is like a double swing.
Right, but while we're trying, Rob, as a company to grow our business, we have other agitators who have got their own interest in mind. They are not on the same page.
And all that stuff too.
No, it's just Jimmy has
Can I
gone.
ask one more question?
Yeah, real quick.
Real quick. About the I know they've been beating up the Epstein file like a dead horse. Epstein. But when the guy Luigi, whatever, the guy with the big eyebrows, they followed that guy all around New York City, and they saw him almost go to the bathroom in Starbucks before he shot the guy from the.
No, you got that story backwards. They found him at Starbucks after the fact. But
anyway, but the thing is, they were able to disregard the people's faces, and now Epstein. If you've seen, what would you think here? Off, you could answer this off the when I hang up. If you've seen that people in influential power did things bad to girls on video, and you saw it, would you say you won't report it?
No, absolutely. You got to.
You
have
Goodbye.
to. Yeah, no problem. You got to report it. I don't know where he was going with all of that. Anyway, let's go. Let's go to my last but not least. White Mike, what's going on, sir? I guess you're just getting out of work.
Jesus Christ, that was painful.
I was trying so hard to be decent, and again,
the reason Jimmy Kimmel got canned is because his lies and behavior were endangering the broadcast license of a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Indeed, it was. That's all.
He was lying. He was lying. He knew he was lying. He was spreading propaganda, and they were setting ABC up for another lawsuit.
Yep. And the brass knew it.
The brass knew it. Next on the list is The View.
Yeah.
Because those harpies are going to run their mouth that whatever her name is, Joy Behar or
Sonny.
the Dominican Puerto Rican chick, Sonny Hawkins, Houston Houston.
Slave owner.
Run her mouth. But now there's something that's been bandied about by the right wing after this happened, and it's the dumbest thing anybody ever says. They say the phrase, political violence has no place in America.
Right.
Do these people not read history books? Do you understand how we formed this country? It was political violence.
Yeah. What was it? What was it?
Do everything.
What was it? Franz Ferdinand?
Yeah. That's how World War
One
started.
began, exactly.
Ferdinand was shot. We shot people in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
We shot people in the Civil War. We killed people to get the civil rights going and crush segregation in the South.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is and this is hypothetical in Minecraft, okay?
Yes.
But if you were ever anywhere and some scrawny-ass Antifa loser gets in your face, hit him. Hit him.
Well, he's damn sure going to hit you.
Thank you. If you're knocking these people out, they're going to learn. Because something about being punched in the face changes people's mindset.
And we've seen it online all over the place. Because listen, Antifa is not there. God forbid. You know what I was just thinking of? And your point, just to your point, forget about what I was going to say. To your point about when you get in these people's faces. Did you see what happened when Antifa showed up in that Brooklyn neighborhood and the brothers got a hold of them?
Wrong place. Wrong place.
It was.
I'm sorry, dude. And let's stop calling them Antifa because the only people who cry about fascism or communists, these are communists.
Yeah.
Antifa is a communist organization. Been one since the 20s.
Yeah. But no, I was just going to say, That particular confrontation was one of the very few times in my life I was rooting for the hood.
So, Jimmy Kimmel got what he deserved because he's an a-hole. All these people who are getting fired for this stuff are crying free speech, but they're so stupid they don't understand that only the government has to respect your free speech.
That's right.
That's it.
That's
your
right.
employer can do what he wants to you if you're a negative image for the company.
Damn right.
All these crying about cancel culture. No, cancel culture does not mean you lose this job. Being canceled means, like it did to conservatives, is they blacklist you, can't work anywhere.
Well, Portnoy,
new jobs.
let me interrupt you. Portnoy made a good point about cancel culture. He said that cancel culture, as far as the left was concerned, is when they go back into your history, like they did to John Wayne, and found an article that in Playboy magazine from 1979 and said, "Did you believe what he said?" I mean, the guy's been dead for 30 years. That's cancel culture. Is going back into one's history. Shane, what's his name? Shane, the comedian, who lost his job. Shane, was it Shane Willis?
Yeah. Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis. Yes. How did he lose his job from Saturday Night Live? Somebody went into his past, he said an off-color joke about Asians, fired from his gig. So that's cancel culture.
I'm just happy we live in an age now where we can call people gay retards again, and it's fine.
You're done. I'm just done with you. You're the worst person ever to live. I swear, I'm so mad at you. And I knew it. I had my hand on it. You're the worst. Mike, I swear to God, you're on punishment for a week. The difference between intelligence and an education is this: that intelligence will make you a good living for you, but an education won't do much more, won't do much for you at all. I kind of feel like that's the case. I kind of feel that way. But anyway, that's where we are. Okay, so like I said, tomorrow we're going to talk about the Connecticut Sun and this ridiculous idea. We already do, Lori. We're going to talk about this ridiculous idea to put a stake in the Connecticut Sun. It's not to rag on the Connecticut Sun. It's a fiscal thing. And I'll break that down tomorrow. We'll talk about that. And there's so much more we need to get into. Jimmy says, "Why do you yell like Chris Rock all the time? My ears are bleeding." There is an off button, sir. There is an off button. And I've never been compared to Chris Rock. Never. And I'm very insulted by that right now. We got to get out of here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC and Charlie in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese On The Radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here on Friday. Mañana. Holla. Here's Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, sir.
Holla. Hey, Reese, thank you very much. If you're heading into Hartford right now, we do have a crash.
All right, good sir.
All right.
It's bowling league time.
Is it really?
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay. I totally did not know that. Okay.
Thursdays at 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Well, win big. Is it money involved?
No. This bowling league, I mean, there's money at the end. It's a 30-week league.
Oh.
And you get paid. They pay you at the end.
Oh.
Like first, second, third, whatever.
But
it's not much money. You pretty much get the money that you're paying in every week.
Oh, okay.
Westbound 72.
Right.
But that's how you establish an average to be able to compete in tournaments.
31. You got some
Got a bowl league.
Yeah, that's why I won't do it.
27 down to 28.
It's way too much.
We gonna get you in the league when you get up here.
I know. I felt that coming. I really did. See you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
84 eastbound and Waterbury slowing by 18. 84 westbound's tight at the Mixmaster. Southbound Parkway slowing from 50 in Hamden into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th.
White Mike, you bastard. I swear I'm going to get you for that. He's just an evil person. Just an evil person. I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. I can't believe the Red Sox lost. At least they're in a wild card hunt. At least that's happening. I'm hoping that they figure it out. All right, y'all be good. Stay good to each other, too.